Welcome back to a corporate time. We've got some guests in studio. These particular guests were going to come in last December, but we got COVID.
Yeah, that was us. That's on us. I feel like that was on us.
You're like, hey, I'm in town. We're going to come by the studio. And we're like,
you might want to hold off.
we can do it, but it'd be very irresponsible.
Yeah. It'll be. I mean, we'll run them. We had thought about. I had all these plans, and Tom kind of poo-pooed on all of them, but I was going to run microphones through every door in our studio outside and then keep us inside, but then have these mobile microphones on stands and then just have listeners drive by and then like, hey, what's up? And like scream into it.
So much extra.
I thought it would be super duper fun, but now we got them back on the schedule, and I will let you. I will defer to you, my friend.
Josie,
the outlaw Jessy Wales is here, everybody.
Wow.
The ghost,
awesome.
the ghost of Josie.
When you try to say Joseph and Jesse, it turns into Josie.
It does.
Josie Martens are here.
Yeah!
Joseph
Josie
and Jessy Martens. How you guys doing?
We're great.
That's actually my mom's name.
Really?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Don't you ever talk about Joseph's mother like that.
Your
How
mom's
dare
name is
you?
Josie?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, don't they do that with celebrities? They put like the two names together. And
Josie
they're
Martens is a saint.
Like me and my wife, Andrea and Daniel, we're Dandria.
Dandriel.
And you and your wife, Crystal, are Tristal.
Is it Tristal?
It's Tristal. Or it's Crom.
I like Crom.
And you and your wife are now known as Crom.
It's pretty good.
Also, Jessica Pauley's here. How you doing, Jessica?
Hey,
You
good
kind
to
of
see
did
you.
that as an afterthought. That's not fair to Jessica
Sorry,
Pauley. I feel
sorry.
like. You're like, oh, hey, here's Josie. And then Jessica Pauley.
Well, we have the same name, so it
let's-
works like we
Yeah.
can actually swap it together.
Jessica squared and a Joseph.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Southern Fried Sundays, and this time we're doing it at Tuffy's Music Box, or actually the patio at Tuffy's, right?
And the music box.
And the Music Box. Okay.
Both.
So let's talk about that. First, let's talk about Southern Fried Sundays.
16 years, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was at I had to button at the first one, right? Somewhere along those lines. It was
I mean, if not the first, definitely
right in there.
the second or third.
Can we deep dive just for those that don't know Southern Fried Sundays? Let's talk about origin, how it became 16 years ago. It was decided that it would begin how? How did that all come to fruition?
Well, it started at the Copper Rocket Pub, and it was sort of a spin-off of an event that they had been doing there for years. Periodically, usually once a month, it was Bluegrass Sundays.
Yes.
And that was River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Yeah.
And usually Big Jeff Special. And Jessy had a place in River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Yes, I sure did.
I'm glad that I'm glad that I got to see Big Jeff Special. I'm glad that I got to.
And we'll get to see them again.
Yeah, I just think it's something weird. I know that if you're my age and you were in that kind of going to shows, you knew about all of this. So you're kind of getting me in the nostalgia a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting excited about it.
There's a nostalgic vibe to it because it's still, periodically old school Central Florida roots music bands will pop up, but it's been a great way to really introduce the community of music lovers to new bands that they like as well. And that's been the objective. So they stopped doing the Bluegrass Sundays, and they, for a very brief time, they did Honky Tonk Sundays, but they realized that moniker was too genre specific. There's not a lot of honky tonk bands. And,
Yeah.
I mean, people might think honky tonk.
I mean, we have ours. We have our honky tonk band.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We don't talk about it.
we need to-
Tom and Donkey Dog.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Tom and Donkey Donk's honky tonk.
It's alliteration.
So, with Bluegrass,
I tried to just do good prom with you, and I didn't know what the hell to do with that. Tom and Donkey Donk.
Tom and Dan's Donkey Donk Honky Tonk.
This is
I
what,
love
you know
it.
what happens? This is what happens when we don't do a warm up and we just bring in our friends and we're just like, let's do this.
We're cold start.
Yeah, let's do the cold start.
I would
so-
go see that band. Just
Yeah,
to let you
that
know.
band needs to play a Southern Fried Sunday.
Oh
Come
God,
on,
look
let's
what
make
you've
it happen.
done, you Donkey Donk.
Literally, last week, me and Daniel had a conversation. Like, let's not do shows without doing a warm up because we can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like we struggle without a warm up. Then
You're a radio
Monday
man.
morning, no warm up.
You guys are. I'll put all of you. You've done enough radio. All three of you have done enough radio to be professional radio people.
We tried.
I mean, for a minute, I tried to be one.
I tuned in to a corporate time with Tom and Dan the other night, I do this from time to time to spot check what we're doing. I feel like it's my job as still like I still have that producer hat on. 25 years of doing this, like I feel like I still got to check in. You know, it'd be like you not practicing ever the fiddle. Like I'm sure that you don't, but I'm sure there are days where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate my, you know, like I don't know. We all go through these phases. So I tune into the show. I'm listening to a corporate time. I had no idea what we were talking about. It was the most confusing and horrible thing I'd ever heard on the radio. I was like, what is this? This is the most confusing and craziest. Who would even put this on the air? And we're doing it again right now. We're doing it again.
That's what we want.
Okay, all right.
Because the more confused you are, the more you're like, "What? This has to be going somewhere."
Keep them on their toes.
Keep listening. It all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, keep them on their toes. Yeah, this isn't like our show is a lot like Lost. Smoke monster. Smoke monster. Why? I don't know.
But we kept watching.
Well, that's a dated reference.
Let me ask you guys about bluegrass. What is the specific difference, like in the bluegrass genre, between bluegrass and country, and like what does it have to be bluegrass, or in that classification?
There's all those kind of subgenres, right?
Yeah. What?
Can I take that one?
I'm gonna let Jessy Lynn Martens take this one since she is the performer in the bluegrass band.
There you go.
So there's like a really snobby bluegrass group of people. Sorry, I don't have headphones, so I don't know if I'm allowed to.
You're fine. I like the fact that you don't. You're just I'm giving you an answer. Just take it.
I'm just hanging out in the middle. Yeah. So like the real bluegrass people would definitely say mostly that the instruments are not electrified. Like the original bluegrass would be a banjo, an upright bass, a mandolin, and they would stand around one microphone, and it was very much acoustic, right? Now, since that has all bled in with thanks to bands like Mumford and Sons and all these other really cool
Trampled by Turtles.
Yeah. So the bluegrass has come into the country thing a little bit more, where you can play with a drummer, but that would have been really frowned upon, like in a real traditional bluegrass.
Kind of like mariachi.
No drums.
Like people don't like mariachi with drums.
Yeah.
If you blend that in there, they're like, whoa.
And also
it is kind of like mariachi.
Instruments, 100%. Like
it's like mariachi of America's South.
It's
instead of Mexico's North.
Yeah, it's like wall mariachi.
And also, I love mariachi.
All of it. Acoustic is where it's at for me. Like it's always my favorite. I can dig into it more, and I like that it's not being amplified. I think it's super fun. Okay, that's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah.
What about the box? My buddy
cajon.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. It is called a cajon.
Because Andres, my buddy, brings around this box, and I'm like, oh God, he brought the box again.
Damn box.
and when we have get-togethers, he likes to sit on the box and start playing the box. We're like, oh God, the box.
Stop boxing.
My theory is it's called a cajon because you sit on it and put your cojones on it.
No.
What if a lady is sitting on it?
I don't think I've ever seen a lady play a cajon.
Oh man, now we've opened up a big can of worms. All of our female cajon players are mad as hell right now.
Let's talk Sunday morning coming down, because you guys are going to be broadcasting out at Southern Fried Sundays.
Yeah, I've been getting a big kick out of doing this. Whenever we come back from Alaska, we're in Florida, we get to connect in person with our listeners. They're very loyal. They come out, and it's typically a sponsor. We've made a couple of exceptions, but Tuffy's Bottle Shop and Lounge in Sanford, they've been a sponsor for a while now, which is a nice fit.
Yeah,
because we like to do
beautiful place there.
It is gorgeous, state-of-the-art sound system, beautiful outdoor patio with an eclectic vibe, very comfortable, inviting situation. And then the interior with the multiple bars and the ciders, and they do a great job. And, of course, they put a spotlight on a lot of local music as well as national touring acts. And a good portion of that fits into the Americana genres that we spotlight in on my show, Sunday Morning Coming Down. And so it's a lot of fun to feature that, and this is a perfect dovetail with Southern Fried Sunday and Sunday Morning Coming Down at Tuffy's, and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So our show is going to be a live broadcast from 9 a.m. to 1.
Which is always on 104.1, by the way, locally.
Yep.
I was going to ask you about like Sunday Morning Coming Down, because how long has it been a show? Because it is
Long
one of
enough
the most
for people. If you don't get to hear it, they will complain. I know that.
well, one of the most unique.
I know. I get the emails. They I think people think that we are still
in charge?
employed or something. And, I mean, we are and we are. Like we're bought by Real Radio, but and people are like, it's not on, or it went out, and I'm like, well, I can't do anything. I'm listening with you right now. Like, what am I supposed to do?
But it's been one of the most unique terrestrial
Definitely.
radio shows that I've ever heard of. That has
I
gone
don't think
on
there's
for as
anything
long.
like it, man.
Yeah, it is unbelievable that it's that not
The
only
pace
you
of
have
it,
still
it's like college radio. The pace of it, the creativity of it, the way it flows, the songs you get, the interaction.
two things.
It's
One,
awesome.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Joseph, that you dedicated yourself to doing it and keep doing it, and another that the corporate radio hasn't screwed it up somehow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
for sure.
100%.
Right.
In any other good shows, like somehow,
Well, they can't steal it. It's
they'd be like,
impossible
yeah.
to duplicate.
They're like, we're not
because
making a ton of money, so
It's
get
not
it.
driven by money, so it can't be duplicated in the same fashion. I don't think.
And I remember during the pandemic and stuff too, Joseph. We talked and like you even trying to like, hey, how
passion,
do we,
yeah.
And then so you have been dedicated to doing it for so long and continuing to do it. And first, kudos to you.
Thank
and how is it possible that something this cool and unique has been?
Yeah, we should really screw it up.
I think it's time for them to screw it up.
I've asked the same question when people ask me what the show consists of. If they've never heard of it before, I'm like, well, it's like a college radio show on a corporate terrestrial station.
Yeah.
And it's an iHeart thing, and they'll make maybe a funny look on their face, like, well, how can that be? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how. I know who was responsible for getting my foot in the door. It was Dan Stone.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
And
Well, that makes sense because he's one of the coolest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
So he knows cool.
Truth.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he and I were drinking buddies at the Matador when it was downtown, and at the time I had a show called Pickin', Grinnin' and Sinnin' on WPRK, Rollins
Love you,
College.
WPRK.
Absolutely.
And he kept on. We'd be towards the end of the night. He's like, "You should have a show on WTKS. I just think it's so different and yada yada yada." And I'm like, "Well, this is just junk bar talk. I don't think it's going anywhere." And then one day it kind of amplified to the point where he said, "Just make a demo of sorts that we could bring to Catherine Brown, who was
The program
the
director at the
head
time,
honcho at the time." And we did that. And she said, long story short, I think it's great. I just don't know how this is going to fit into the rest of our programming because it's so different. So that was our no. So a couple weeks go by, and Dan goes,
We like garbage, like a corporate timer, where when you're listening, you can't even understand what's happening.
Can you be more confusing? like these two dads that do this show. They do this show. Just listen to this. Be more like that.
We want confusing garbage pre-recorded a week before.
Right.
But anyway,
Very on
Dan, he decided to just pull a rogue play, and we went into the studio unannounced. He pulled them off of automation, and we did a 2-hour version of what is now Sunday Morning Coming Down, now a 4-hour program. And throughout the years, I've wondered why they're continuing to let me do it. But after that first time that we did the show, we had listeners that sent in emails that said, "Hey, really like the change up in the programming on your Sunday mornings." And Catherine brought us in for that second meeting, and she said, it's just so different. And I think that because it doesn't fit with anything else we do, that's the charm of it. So it's never been a contract. It's always been kind of just a friendly agreement to let us continue to do it unless we burn the place
That's us
down.
too.
I have no job security.
I know that guy.
Yeah, it's just, but over the years, I remember the first time I asked Jack about ratings, because we never considered ratings in college radio, and he's like, "You don't want to know." And
Hey, I've heard that.
but I
heard that too.
We don't even ask. We're like,
but I
assume it's
pushed the
nothing.
question. It was like maybe a year later. I thought, surely, all the work I'm putting into this and the time that's gone by, we've maybe snowballed into something.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, Daddy-O, I'll look.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, wow, this is actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah, we're not.
And so now he checks
not
every now and then, or I'll remind him, and the show is doing great. I mean, in several big demographics, we're number one in our time slot. So it's been a real lovely
relationship, and
Yeah.
it's worked out. I think
He wasn't going to say relationship. Don't you ever interrupt him. That man was talking, and you're like,
By the way, iHeart, do you care about contracts or you don't? No, I don't. He said, because one
they fired
instance you
me
do,
because I didn't want to sign mine.
and then another instance,
No,
they're like,
they
yeah,
didn't.
just
They-
do it.
that's
Who
a
cares?
lie.
But just do it without one who doesn't matter. It's either.
It only matters if it matters. You know that.
So how long has it been?
I don't know. It's probably right around 2002, I want to say.
Wow.
The 20 years.
20 years.
See, there's a weird place where
That's insane.
the Rollins College period just kind of blurs into the real radio thing and where this took place, because Dan and I've
Hold on, we have to find out if it's a 20-year anniversary could be coming up any day now. We have to make a big deal.
No, but if you make too big of a deal,
It's a
then they'll be
long-
like, "Why are you guys under contract?" And they're like, no, and I'm like, "Shut it down!" Like, you
You
can't
gotta fly under
Well,
the radar.
fly under
Yeah.
the
The other
you
thing-
know this.
the other thing to consider too is that I was fired along with all of
What?
Yeah, all of their music programming got canceled at one point.
Yeah,
And
because
that's-
you guys were, hashtag me too. I got canceled too. It's just, when you're saying, when you're flying, flying hot.
do you
get
I
remember-
did the picture. I did the thing.
I remember.
Do you remember when they
out.
they went to automated classic rock, and I'm doing the parentheses.
Yes, my favorite music.
Yeah,
Automated
we need
classic
more of
rock.
that.
And
What everybody thirsts for.
when I followed up with Jack about it, I was like, "How's the classic rock thing going?" And he's like, "Wow, ratings have actually improved."
They
I'm like,
did, yeah.
Well, that's great.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, they always say that. It's like,
Right.
we pulled the
Something.
trigger. We gave them more AC/DC. We're rich.
People want automated classic rock.
But he apparently he had been silently petitioning to get Sunday Morning Coming Down back on real radio. And, of course, I didn't know about it until the day that he got approval for it to happen. And I remember this phone call vividly because Jessy and I had already committed to our maiden voyage to Alaska.
Nice.
And I'm so happy to hear this news, but also sad because I've got to turn it down. There's no, how am I going to host a show on the road?
Yeah.
But I said, is it possible? I mean, just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it couldn't be done.
Sure.
Maybe. And he goes, let me get back to you. So we came up with an idea to use the brick, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. This
We don't have enough money
sort
for
of a
one, but
automated.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it basically it requires me to have a producer, somebody at the console in the station,
Pinkman?
to make sure that my laptop, the communications that I'm having with the producer, it's all in real time, and as long as I've got a Wi-Fi signal, I can host Sunday Morning Coming Down anywhere in the world.
Awesome.
And we got
And
to
you have.
do it. The first season was in Alaska, and then all throughout. Actually, before we got to Alaska, we spent 2 months on the road just traveling, slowly northwest, and then in Canada, where I hosted a show from the McDonald's playground there.
awesome.
I couldn't find Wi-Fi anywhere. And it was great until the kids started coming in. And,
Yeah.
I'm-
And Canada kids are bigger. They're like thicker. I don't mean to disrespect. They're just thicker children.
but they're very polite.
Yeah, they're lovely children, but they're larger and sturdier. Sturdier legs than Canadians.
They sell gravy at the McDonald's in Canada?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
But it's in a dispenser, which is odd. You have to bring your own cup.
They had a fireplace at this McDonald's.
Oh, my
kidding.
God.
It was a fancy
Oh,
one.
my
You
God.
got fireplaces?
Come in, warm up. Oh, yes.
Canadian McDonald's?
Yeah, come warm. Eat your McGriddle by the fire.
What I thought was really crazy was that you did the show from China,
Yeah.
which,
China.
like, the Chinese government letting anyone broadcast a radio show from.
How the hell did that work?
We had to get like a VPN and a backwards gate.
And there was certain music you couldn't play, right?
Well, so our handler explained, look, he was kind of painting it as the picture is, look, you can do anything, really. We're
how much do you value your
fun-loving,
hands?
freedom-loving, but just don't say anything that could possibly be interpreted as something that could embarrass the Chinese people or the government.
Or we'll have you killed.
And I'm like,
Right.
but could you be more specific?
So,
And
no
they're like,
PP and Coke. Is that
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm picking up. Yeah.
So, but apparently they had listened to the show before. And when I asked him, can you be more specific? The guy goes, well, you have a...
Do the voice. Do the voice.
You have an interesting sense of humor that might not translate
I've heard that.
to some of our listeners. And I'm like, but it's not being broadcast here in China. He goes, well, and that was like this nod, like, oh, there'll be listeners.
Yeah.
And every time, the interesting.
They're listening, buddy.
I did the show 4 times from Shenzhen, and the first show I remember every time I said the word China or Chinese, my signal would cut off for about 15 seconds.
Oh, they put you on a delay.
Radio,
See what you were gonna say.
Radio nowhere.
Wow.
And I
can't even say the name of the country you're in.
Well,
that is some censorship.
No, what I still don't know for sure, but I think it was them telling me we're listening. And just to let me know who's boss, like we can cut you off at any time. But after that, and when they realized that I didn't follow up Chinese with anything derogatory,
Dirty news.
I didn't say anything that was insulting, then they're like, okay, we'll not cut him off next time.
This guy's cool.
Yeah, maybe. And so that the rest is history. But
We'll
yeah.
let you play your Loretta Lynn. All right. Okay, we'll let you.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk
Chris Christopherson. Okay. All right.
the past 2 years real quick, because how did COVID affect you guys in traveling? And
I
because
still don't know how my taste, dude.
you know,
Still don't know my taste. How am I supposed to taste my Diet Mountain Dew?
and not only with performing, but the travel and all that stuff. Like, how much of a pain in the ass did you just like stay somewhere, one place for a longer period of time than normal?
We did. We ended up when it hit, like it was March, right before St. Patty's Day. We had all these gigs downtown we were supposed to do, and then it was like literally
The rug got pulled
switch
out.
went
from
out,
under us.
and
Big time.
now we're sitting here, and we decided to get our butts up to. We were actually supposed to go to London to do some shows over there, and we just realized we were going to get to Alaska as quickly as possible because there's lots of space. You don't have to see anybody.
Yeah.
We're kind of set up there.
Closer to Russia.
And it hadn't really,
I've seen the memes.
it
Just
hadn't
saying.
really hit Alaska that much yet.
Yeah.
It kind of took some time to get up there. So we knew we could get up there, still get away with playing a few shows for a couple more months before it really hit the fan up there.
Were like the people of Alaska, because I'm sure a lot of people that travel to Alaska a lot probably thought the same thing and started heading to Alaska. Like, I imagine it was a place where people were gravitating towards because of the
I
open
feel
space.
like you got to be a special person and like tough and knowledgeable to like
Well,
live there. I don't know
did
anything
the-
about it, but I would imagine it's not like you can't be a wimp and just be like, "Well, I'm scared. I'm going to Alaska." I don't think you can do that, right?
Well, I was going to say,
Or can you?
if the people of Alaska were like, stay out of here, like, because
Get
people
out
are
of
like,
here. Yeah, get out of
like, I'm for influx of
Yeah.
people coming to Alaska. They're like, stop,
We do
get out of
that.
here.
It does nothing here. I'm like, please stop coming here.
I mean, I feel like you could take the whole state of Florida, put them in Alaska, and you wouldn't notice that there's any more
Yeah.
people there.
Yeah. It's so
It's
much
like-
open space.
Yeah, and there's just so much camping, and people are out in the woods, and you can really go with a backpack and a tent during the summer, of course, which is when this was happening, springtime, and
Perfect.
And yeah, you could fish and hunt and hike and not run into anybody.
It must have been like
That sounds
a
awesome.
different world, because I noticed even when we went to Colorado, like in the middle of the pandemic, and then we went to some sort of like there was a bunch of like museum type houses on like where there's waterfall was. Anyway, we went on this excursion. Anyway, when we got there, it was like dead middle of the pandemic. Everybody mask crazy, and like nobody was wearing a mask up here. Like people didn't even know, they weren't really connected to the world, so they're like, hey, everything is the same as it's always been here. Like there's 30 of us that live on the top of this mountain or whatever. And so was there a lot of that where like people were so disconnected from what was happening in the world that everybody was like living their normal life in Alaska?
It really depended on the town. There were some places, and I hate to say it was kind of political, but I think in the places where it was more
politicized
on the right side of it, you would see very few masks. And in the areas where it was maybe a little bit more on the blue side, you'd see a lot more masks in the grocery stores and in the places where there's a lot of people in a public enclosed place.
Yeah.
And in general, I think Alaskans do consider themselves pretty tough, especially those that are, taking advantage of all of the natural resources, the hunting, the fishing, the hiking. They're
Gardens, all of it. It's a lot of work.
A lot of outdoorsy stuff going on. But one big concern, I think, for the folks in Alaska that are in charge of disease prevention are these very isolated villages that are tribes that the resource, connection to the outside world isn't as easy as, say, like in Anchorage, where you've got a major international airport. You've got all these little satellites that are way out there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago, the only way to get there was either by plane or by sled dog.
Super desolate,
So you can
right?
imagine that if like one person brings in a virus,
COVID
or
wipe out
anything else,
Oh
it can wipe out everything.
Because that happened with the Native Americans when Europeans came here. Like just the regular flu wiped out every Native American because they didn't have any immune system to all these different diseases and stuff. Yeah.
But I also think Alaska was like totally on top of it. You could test everywhere for free, and they were always out. Like even Florida was just like way behind on all of that stuff. So even though it was like less of a thing when we got there, like we'll say Homer is the fishing town. Like as you were driving into Homer, it said, please test. Here's where you can do it for free. And it didn't matter who you were. You just...
It was organized.
It was organized. And it was just like, so, it was kind of silly. You had every opportunity to
And
make
they had
sure.
enough of them.
Easier to do with less people, though.
That is
sure.
true.
So back to Southern Fried Sundays.
Yeah, because we need to give this thing a good rundown, because I've already got people in the chat room asking about tickets and how they can come and celebrate.
Also doing some fundraising as well. Let's speak about that.
Yeah. So, it just makes sense. Joseph and I have kind of combined the two events, or have had the Hindu Cowboys, or Jessy's played with River Bottom Nightmare Band. We've supported each other, and not just because of the genres of the show and the showcase are the same, but just we're friends. We do it.
Years
we
and
do it
years
like that.
of doing this event together
Yeah.
or in some capacity.
But I don't think we've ever combined a live broadcast of Southern Fried Sunday and a Southern Fried Sunday show.
So we can take advantage of, if people want to get out there, they can like basically be there for the entire day. I mean, pace yourself. Pace yourself, please.
Yeah, it's going to be a 11-hour day.
Yeah, so from 9 until, did you say 2?
9 to 1
9
is
to 1
is the live show.
Is the live show.
You can come out and hang out with us, which we've done in Sanford a couple of times, and we've got a great little following out there. So thank you, Sanford people, for continually coming out.
We're
and
big
support.
fans of the Sanford.
Yeah.
Same.
Yep, same.
Family friendly, baby. And
This is going to be then 2 o'clock starts Southern Fried Sunday
Nice.
with live music. We're kicking it off with Patrick Hagerman, who is just incredible songwriter, and is very well known around Toughies. And then he's going to play a set like transitioning into, and yes, it is family friendly.
Nice.
We have Big Jeff Special, which
Love
has kind of come into a new iteration of the band now with the other guitarist being another Jeff. It's Jeff Nolan.
Oh, wow.
Is
Oh,
now
I didn't
Good
know
friend of
that.
ours.
Yeah, that's cool.
like so.
I didn't know that either. That's great.
And
So-
they were one of the originals, you should say too. Big
Yeah,
Jeff Special.
Big Jeff Special played the very first Southern Fried Sunday.
So it's really cool.
Which it's really fun to have them back. This is kind of for me. We just did a big 16-year anniversary celebration at Will's Pub with 3 stages of music, and we did that in March, and now the April one is like expanding it, and that's kind of what I'm like. Okay, we've been doing this for 16 years. For 13 years, it was every month a different live music showcase, and now it's kind of quarterly. Every so often, but the goal is like, now let's expand it a bit, take it to some other markets, and branch it out, and then bring some of their bands here and some of our bands there, and let people discover it. So yeah, Big Jeff Special's playing their brand of like cowpunk rockabilly, and then the Smoking Jackets. Do you guys know them?
I'm not familiar. Tell me about Smoking Jackets.
So they play in Sanford a lot. They're based out of Sanford. They, I want to say, stole the show at this year's Porch Fest.
Really?
At Sanford Porch Fest. I didn't see in front of any other house more people packed into the street.
Oh, I love it.
And they are a cover band, but they are an incredible cover band that does all kinds of different music. And that's Josh Schneider, Tim Turner, it's Jay Campfire on keys.
Nice.
Oh,
A
nice.
lot of like Nathan Anderson on sax.
Oh wow.
It's a lot of like heavy hitters from different Orlando bands and
Love
bands
it.
that have been around for a long time. And so they're going to be doing some Stones and some Zeppelin and
Cool.
some music that everybody knows and loves. And then we have the Blue Streak Mamas, who are relatively new, but again, they have like a lot of old school heavy hitter musicians from like the legendary JCs
Sure.
and the Gold Miners. And they play this kind of music that's not covers, but every song you're like, hey, that kind of reminds me of this song. They
It's a
kinda,
vibe.
Yeah, they have a Black Crows kind of thing going on. Black Crows, maybe like a little bit of Skinner, a little Zeppelin.
Definitely bluesy rock.
It's got that southern feel. Who else is playing? Oh, Nick Demeter and the Sawdusters. They're coming from
Yep.
Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're kind of like
They're Americana.
they're Americana honky tonk mixed with a little bit of like Dire Straits-ish rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like that southern kind of Dire Straits sound, which I'm an unabashed like Dire Straits fan.
Okay, I love it.
I miss Jessy Lynn Martens.
And this
Yes,
this is a lot you get for $10, right? It's just $10 to get into this.
Yeah, it's a $10 minimum suggested donation because
Sure.
part of it does go to Ukraine relief. We're working with care.org.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of them?
Yep.
Or Care USA? They're actually based.
Tom just lied to you. He's never heard of it.
How
I did
dare
not
you.
lie. to you. I
Did
did
you-
not lie.
How
to you.
saw the
dare
poker
you?
face.
Well,
How
that was
dare
a
you?
fast yep. That was I mean, like, because I'm like, care.org.
I've
Have
heard
you
of-
ever
Thinking
heard
of
of them?
his website, don't care.
I've heard of everything.
I was
Of course
saying, like,
you have.
have you heard of care.org? And
Yes.
you said, yep. And I'm like,
Nope.
Ask me what I've heard
and then
of.
I
I'll
got
tell you
guilted in
yes.
because because our business partners. Then you forced me to be like, I guess I'm a yep too, but I'm really a nope.
Just say yeah to everything.
So actually, Jessy found this. This charity organization that's been in business since the 70s. They are an A+ rated charity on CharityWatch.com.
Nice.
I always want to check that out. Make sure that the money's going
don't
to
put
the
our
right
names in
place.
there.
And to be fair, it's
You
the
don't
same
wanna do that.
charity that the Daily Show is working with.
Yeah, so
that's
how you found
with
it.
Trevor Noah was promoting it, and I wanted to see because I figured they probably did their research.
Yeah,
to
do a
make
little due
sure
diligence, sure.
who's getting the money to
Yeah.
Ukraine and the people.
I like donating to C+ charities. I look at it, I'm like, is
Yeah.
this good? Is
Well,
this okay? Does this mean okay?
I mean, based on what I've been told, C+ charities will be the managing charities of the future, right? Because their C+ students are managers.
it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
No.
But is it
It's just
okay?
a little disorganized. A little
Sorry,
disorganized.
sorry.
Like the people running it have really nice things. If it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
C+.
They take money for their own pizza parties out of the money.
So I mean, this is an awesome event. Go see Sunday Morning Coming Down, Southern Fried Sundays,
Yeah, you can
all
kind
these
of
great bands.
a la carte this and pick and choose and
Yep.
pop in, and it's
Yeah.
an all-day
Yeah.
amazing thing that you can be a part of.
And Swine and Sons is going to be cooking
my-
awesome barbecue the whole time.
They're so,
So-
yummy.
I checked our schedule. Our Airbnb is open for that night if
Oh.
someone wants to stay.
Yeah.
I'm probably
Nice
going to need to
segue.
stay in Sanford.
All right.
You better get your wallet out.
We give you 5%.
5%.
That's
gave us
a
I have a
solid
problem booking.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a full day. People can bring out their kids, can bring out friends and family, hang out in the beautiful courtyard, and then it's just gonna flip. Like music's gonna be in the courtyard, and then inside in the music box, and you know, come by for the whole show if you have the stamina, or come by for part of it.
I love it.
There's a Facebook page for it, so we'll be putting up the schedule. If anybody's looking to see which bands specifically playing at what time, they can join the Facebook page, and it's on Tuffy's website at tuffysmusicbox.com.
And I just have to say, too, if you're coming out to Sanford and you don't know where Tuffy's is, you are walking distance in the awesome little town of Sanford. So you can spend a whole day hanging out down there because you can walk to the water.
Little
if you
shops.
want.
Yeah,
There's
waterfront.
so much to do.
Bike trails,
Yeah,
bike
yeah.
shops, rent a bike, get a cart, drive
Right.
around.
Restaurant,
Yeah.
brewers, everything. Yeah.
You're right.
Apparently,
down
there's
there
a
at
guy
Tuffy's.
named Dan that you can call, and he'll pick you up on a golf cart.
Oh, yeah? Me? Is it me?
we just
We haven't
hired
talked about
you
that.
today.
That's the job.
It's a different Dan.
That's the job I want.
just
This is
found
the
this
job
out
I
recently.
have. But the job I want is golf cart Dan.
And he's dressed like the tiniest ringmaster. So that's my favorite.
Did you know when we were working with the Orlando Predators, they had a guy in their marketing department that was like, "Oh, I got a brilliant idea. This, you mother." And this guy, and he's like, "Oh, we got to get Daniel from the Monsters to dress as the tiniest ringmaster, and that he's like the ringmaster in like a psycho circus."
I kind of like that idea.
I mean, honestly, I kind of do too, but I would have think of
we're
it.
doing
You know?
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would have think of it. So if you guys need a tiny ringmaster, let me know.
I mean, we don't have an MC for the day.
Tiny ringmaster, but that's a definitely get your wallet out scenario. Those hats are expensive.
Guys, thanks so much for coming by. When are you guys heading back to Alaska?
Well, we leave here right after Southern Fried Sunday.
This is the last
either
hurrah.
the evening of the 24th or the following morning on the 25th up to Nashville to see friends and family.
Nice.
And then we're in California for a month, just tooling around on a train. We're going to explore
gonna be awesome.
the West Coast, and then we'll be in Alaska by June 2nd for the whole salmon fishing season, which goes through Labor Day weekend.
And Salmon Fest.
And salmon
Tom, you're a big
Fest.
salmon guy. I'm
You know-
surprised you haven't gone out there.
You guys are describing a life that I feel
Follow the
lots of
fish.
people would
Follow
want
the
to
fish.
like I'm gonna go to Nashville to visit some
I'm
friends
gonna
and
head up California on a train.
go out for a month.
The slowest form of transportation
Yeah, but-
created. It sounds amazing.
Well, what's cool is you can keep up with us on the road because every Sunday morning we'll be telling you guys where we're at, what we're doing, and we do have some shows. But it's a good life. We kind of planned it, and then
It's fantastic. I love it when you guys pop in and say like, "Okay, where are we at? Here's where we're at, and
Yeah.
here's some music for you."
We'll be doing
Yeah.
a better job too of keeping to date content of what Jessy and I are doing with our touring band is Juno Smile, and you'll be able to find information about that at the Sunday Morning Coming Down website, which is sundaymorningcomingdown.com, or if you're lazy, smcdradio.com. And like I said, we're touring our duo, a husband-wife duo called Juno Smile, which will be playing some shows in California and then the whole season in Alaska starting early June.
I got one last question for you, Joseph. When you are curating your Sunday Morning Coming Down playlist, do you go back? Like, I'm sure you're like, oh, I'm going to play this. So, like, did I play this 2 or 3 months ago? Like, do you go back and look what you've played before? Is it all, like, how do you curate that list? Because my wife loves listening to it because it's like so many things she'd never like thought of looking for and stuff that she's exposed to, and then she goes into
It's
a deep
great,
dive
yeah.
of other stuff because you have such musical knowledge. But how do you even curate that list?
Well, so most of the Sunday Morning Coming Down radio shows are themed. This past Sunday, or yesterday, because it was,
When was that?
Easter, I decided to dive into old school gospel, country gospel, old Southern church gospel. The week before that was a tribute to my mom who just passed, so I dove really deep into the songs because all of my country music upbringing comes from her. She used to play and sing. And then the week before, that's too long ago. I don't remember what the theme was. But
There's been
so
ones about-
that's where it comes from. And usually if I stay within a theme, there's very little chance that I'm going to repeat the same song. And if it happens, it's okay. I'll ask Josh Pinkman, our producer, when was the last time we played this song? And usually,
I don't know. I miss that guy. I've been sitting here forever.
well, Joseph, it's been a while. I'm sure it's okay to play it.
Yeah, he's there on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I love him.
You know, like
My God.
Thank you,
getting
too.
bored out
Thank you,
deal. He's like, oh God, he's asking me questions. I'm so hungover.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's kind of how we tried to keep it fresh and not play the same song 2 Sundays in a row. Usually it's been a minute since we've heard it. There's just so many great old country western songs to play from. And also we play a lot of brand new releases from the Americana performers that don't get any time on the terrestrial radio. But some of which I'm sure our listeners have listened to. Award-winning singer-songwriters like Chris Stapleton, Jason Isbell, and Brandi Carlile.
Tyler Childers.
Tyler Childers, yes.
All the good
the
ones.
list goes on. And it's just radio you can't find typically on terrestrial radio. You'd have to maybe look on satellite or college radio to find the eclectic programming that's not following a notion of it has to be top 100 or top 40 or definitely not top 10. Because that stuff is already getting exposure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the undiscovered stuff that should be a hit, but for some reason it's not. And that discovery process is I think, the big part of why the show is popular, is people like to get turned on to new bands, and they're like, oh, wow, this guy's great. Let's check this out. And
Yeah. I like it when I find something that I absolutely know nobody like. Not that I'm like I'm not that guy that like if I'm listening to something and everybody else is all we're all in agreement that it's wonderful. I've never been the type of person where I'm like, this is too popular. I can't like it anymore.
So not a hipster.
Yeah, it's just not me. But like I like it when I find something and then I give it to other people and they go, "Oh, I really like that."
Yeah.
Like a new artist that I've been playing a lot. I think we played him on the show and I wrote to him to get permission to play his music. Joshua Ray Walker, I believe. And he's a larger man. That's how you'll know it's him.
Right.
But his voice, it's just like when you hear him sing, you're like, holy moly, where have you been? And then, this is months ago. Let's say even a year ago, I found this guy and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to blow up. He's going to go blow up. He's going to blow up. Please blow up. And then sure enough, you see him on the Tonight Show and then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so cool. And then I'm
That's
like,
a
I
nice
hope
benchmark.
you get extra popular.
Yeah.
You deserve to be
I
extra
love that
popular.
too. When I was at O-Rock, I kept telling my program director that I'm like, Kings of Leon, they're going to be the
Right,
biggest
right.
band
When
in the
you
world.
find something, you're like, I
come
like
on,
that.
let me play
Yeah.
them. Come on.
Please.
We should be putting them in regular rotation. And he's like, no, they don't test well. They don't test
Because
well.
there's no difference, right, between the person that isn't discovered and the person that is discovered. It's just like that's why your show is so important.
We don't have a test process at all. It's just what we play.
Yeah.
When people ask, well, how do you choose what to play? I'm like, I just choose.
And that's why it's so
I
important, though, because there's
listen,
not a lot
yeah.
of it. Even the shows that used to play like outlaw country or what they considered X country,
Right.
like
Yeah.
these stations on XM that would play like Steve Earle, and like they play stuff that like you would expect on there are now getting kind of snatched,
Yeah.
and you can see that their playlist is becoming maybe a little more commercial because they're becoming what commercial radio was, let's say 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's why your show is certainly so important. We have to do
Thank
whatever
you.
we can to keep it not curated by
And-
corporate, but curated by you.
And in a way, that's what I've always tried to do on the live spectrum with Southern Fried Sunday is introduce people to bands that they didn't know
Right.
by pairing up some local bands that people did know and that were popular with newer bands or touring bands and really, growing people's musical repertoire.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for coming by.
Thank
Again,
you.
Sunday morning
appreciate
coming
it.
down.
Where do
Southern
you get
Fried
tickets?
Sundays. You get tickets just by
Toughies.
showing up,
Right.
right?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
definitely get tickets at the door, but if you want to get them in advance, you can go to Tuffy'sMusicBox.com.
Tuffy'sMusicBox.com. We'll take a break. Oh, yes, sir.
Sunday, April 24th. Come see me for Sunday morning coming down live broadcast at Tuffy's Music Box, followed by Southern Fried Sunday.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemails.
All right. I like voicemails because it takes the hardest part of our job, which is thinking about what we want to talk about, and it puts it on your shoulders, squarely on your shoulders. So when we don't have anything to talk about and we fired up voicemails, if nothing is good here, I blame you. I don't blame us. I've been doing this for so long. I feel like that's fair, right?
Yeah, you give us the content.
Yeah, you guys give us.
You do the work.
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
We're tired.
Yes, we're so tired. Here's a big one. A lot of this is Tom likes to start all these little fires on the show, and then I get all the voicemails and people asking about him, and then like you're never giving anybody any answers. So please, sir, can you adjust? This person has a question.
Is it just me, or have I not heard a nerd jock for the last couple weeks? Are they still paying him off? What's going on with that?
More than one of these. Lots of these.
So now people
People
want
are missing it.
I'm so done with you, listeners. I am so you make up your GD minds. Is it good? Is it bad?
You
I
want it, you
feel
don't
like
want it.
when we have him on, you say you hate it, and then when he's not here,
Like,
you're
where
like,
is
bring
he?
it back. And I'm like, this is a marriage. It's destined to fail.
This is why we're
marriage.
tired all the time.
Well, we
We don't know what you guys want.
I don't know what
Okay.
they want. They wanted the shows on Thursday. We want high energy in the BDM shows. We move it to Thursday, give you more energy, and then you're like, we want them back on Mondays for convenience. So we put them on Mondays. They're slow
we
as
want to
hell.
hear about your boring weekend.
Yeah, what'd you do? Well, Daniel doesn't do anything because his anxiety has crippled him to the point where he's dying.
Well, we hadn't done Nerd Jock in like 3 weeks, but that was happenstance because
We were on vacation for a week.
yeah, there's
and then
vacation. Then
he
we
was sick or something.
Yeah, he was sick, and then we were off on a random Tuesday. Anyway,
He could have done it. One of those times he could have done it. He's being lazy.
But we decided to make Nerd Jock a once a month segment. I had an awkward conversation with EJ about.
It's only awkward if you make it awkward. I mean,
He makes it awkward.
Yeah,
He
well,
wouldn't have made it awkward with me. I just look at him. I go, "We're going to once a month. It's easier for you. It's easier for us. Get out of here."
Yeah, but I have to present it to him as if it's his choice. That's why.
Why do you have to do it like that? That's what makes you the psycho, right?
Yes.
Hold on a second. I wanted to hug you because
Truth Monday.
he was so honest to me. I wanted to walk over and hug him.
It's just because if you
Yes.
present it like, "Hey, I got this idea that I think will be better for you,"
I do that for my wife all the time.
yeah, it's a
I'm like,
manipulation.
hey, I got this idea. It's
Yeah,
going to
it
be better
is.
for you. We bring another woman into the bedroom, and then that would take some heat off of you, right?
Right,
Takes a
less
little
work
heat
for
off.
you.
Yes.
I think it's a bad vegan manipulation type of thing.
You know, I started watching that. That is psycho. Why you only watch documentaries about insane people?
I promise EJ that his dog will live forever if he just decided to do it once a
Bad
month.
Vegan, Netflix or Hulu. something like that.
And then I also said he can come into the studio and do it live because it's much better live than recorded. That's why people are.
So
getting
where are
some-
we at with this? So now it's down to once a month.
Once a month live, he comes in, and then it's going to be an extra a 40-minute Nerd Jock.
Yeah, okay. But with dated stories, right? Or is it
Dated, real dated.
So it'll be like Seth's news. It's fine.
It's stories.
On brand.
where are we at with
It's
that?
like, what's happening in last month's sports?
What happened a month ago?
So is this guy bitching that it's not on once a week?
I think he's just curious what happened because we did have a thing where people were paying for him not to do the segment.
Oh, yeah.
So he was asking if people are still paying him off.
So, okay, I'll be honest because I was like, well, EJ just presents us some stories, and then we talk about the topics
stories,
and the
right.
stories.
It'd be no different. Anybody could play EJ's role. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm
That's
not.
what it sounds like.
And then, no, but he is good with being made fun of. He's not, weird about that.
Well, he doesn't.
He's a
have,
good sport.
He doesn't have the mental capacity to fight back. It's not that he's being a good sport. It's just he has.
Well,
nothing,
that's what every
he has
radio show
nothing
does.
loaded. If I'm beating,
you get a mentally handicapped person and you make fun of
If
them.
I'm beating a person with a weapon and they don't have a weapon, it's not that they're being really cool about about this beating I'm giving them. It's like, no, they don't. They can't defend themselves.
So I never understood all the negativity that we received about Nerd Jock because Daniel was like, "Hey man, we got to do something."
Well, I'm
getting
on the
email
front
after
lines.
email,
I'm literally on the front
and
lines.
people hate it. They're saying that they'll never listen again. I'm like, god damn, what's so bad about it? I'm like, he's just presenting us some stories, and then we make fun of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it
That's
seems
the
pretty.
bit, yeah.
It seems pretty good to me. It's like he's not doing it. It's not like he is like, all right, you get 25 minutes stand up now, and then I can understand why people say that was bad, but. I mean, he barely talks. He's like, this story happened. And then me and you talk the whole time.
Maybe it's just people.
Maybe it's us.
It could be us. I never thought of that.
Maybe
I didn't think
it's
about it.
us
Maybe
that's
his
screwing it
bit
up.
is great, and then maybe
We're screwing it
maybe
up.
if he just did his bit just straight,
Uninterrupted.
uninterrupted, without us commenting at all.
I don't think he'd have enough content.
Then I thought, well,
She might be right on that.
the only people.
Good producer.
Have you guys seen this trailer for this movie coming out? It's pretty cool.
Okay, that's a good
Ah,
producer.
yeah.
That's a good producer.
You gotta fill in that time.
You know, you should get a job producing.
And
Tom should hire you.
maybe the only you only hear in the negativity, right? So like,
Well, the negativity sticks. Sometimes during BDM Appreciation
People like
Week,
to complain.
you know, which is, you know, we're taping this now during BDM
Yeah.
Appreciation Week.
Oh.
We've got multiple people have emailed us and said, hey, you know, it's easy for people to talk about the bad, but I'm going to do something crazy and talk about how good you guys are. And then when you put it like that, it's almost like, well, somebody's putting a gun to your head. Jesus Christ. You should want to do it.
Yeah. Are
You should want to do it.
But you're only doing it because you hear all the bad.
It's like scheduling sex with my wife. It's like, just grab it and go. Don't tell me that we need to set a time for it because that just makes me feel like you don't care.
You schedule it in now?
She does. She's like, if you
See it
want
in the
it,
calendar?
she'll say that. If you want it, spread it on the calendar.
Yeah. That's easier for me.
I don't like that. See, you're a logical weirdo.
Yeah.
I want it to be.
My wife has to do the emotion.
No.
Like I'm ready. When
That's what I want.
When you set up
Yes,
the perfect
when
scenario.
when you push me against the wall and kiss me
No,
passionately.
Yeah. And you set up the perfect
Yes.
emotional scenario where you make me
I'm
feel
like your
the-
wife. I'm
Yeah,
like your
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't make me feel like a passionate woman.
I was like, instead, like I don't even need it every day. But I mean, once every 4 days or 3
Passionately,
days.
though.
No,
But I don't wanna
I'm
schedule
I'm the schedule guy. But like, all right, we Wednesday 9 p.m.
No, I don't even get that.
butt fucking.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry.
Let it run through you. My
That's for a Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
In
that's
the
a
middle of the
Wednesday.
week, huh?
I expected that to be like a Saturday night. Saturday nights are all right.
No.
Elton John.
That's actually the worst.
2 days of
the one
cleanup.
that
Thursday's
I don't
rough.
actually
Yeah.
prefer that. Like that's the worst one.
That is the worst one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
That's like
I'm
all
I don't
you.
want-
It's like all you can eat wings Wednesday. It's like that's a rough night.
I don't even want that.
My wife, no, she's like, I like it better when you tell me. So now when we're sitting there watching the news, I have to look over and be like, hey, tonight you want to, and she'll be like, thank you for letting me know. And I'm like, God,
What in the world?
I don't want that. I want my wife to come in and then just like start rubbing
Yeah,
my shoulder.
spontaneity,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you, Sam.
Yeah. That's what my wife
Yeah,
wants.
thank you. We should swap wives.
Yeah,
We should swap wives.
I
and
just want
film
to be.
it.
I be sitting on the couch and I'm watching, and then I'm like, oh, I feel something, and then I'm like, hey, now, like that's all. I'm like, hey, later, like, after we're done.
I don't like that
Yeah.
though, because then later when we're sitting there watching
And
the
the-
Lightning game, my wife's like, well, it's time to honor our agreement. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, no.
I like that. Yeah. Then
I
I
knew
go,
you'd like that.
And then I commander it with my hands on my hips.
I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah. I like that.
I don't like any of that. You need to talk to my wife about this. Like, she really does. Write this down for this Friday show, Sam.
Okay.
Write it down as a topic. We'll get Andrea in here.
Yeah.
And then you guys
It's
can
pure
talk about
science.
I want you both to explain why it's better. And then me and Sam will take the opposite side and we'll argue this to the death. Because it's absolutely not better that way.
Because because it's just an agreement. It's a
I don't know.
a marital
You should be
agreement.
You should be
let's fulfill our marital agreement.
my 12-year anniversary.
I'll sign a contract
My 12-year anniversary
every time.
was yesterday, right? 12 years. I've been married.
Oh,
You have known me long enough to know that I don't need an agreement. Just assume every other day in rotation I need to take my vitamin pills. You know what I mean? Just assume that it's not going to change from now until I die. That if did we do it last night? We did do it last night. So tonight we don't have to do it. But tomorrow night, we're doing it.
no, every other day.
That's what I like.
I don't even need it that much. I could do.
I need it
can
every
go-
day, but I can't get it every day.
Sometimes if I screw up, I'll 2 months.
Oh,
2
no.
months.
Oh, no.
It feels like that. I
Now,
don't
what have
think
you done to get the 2-month ban?
There's been lots of times.
Clopping mud through the
Oh yeah,
house.
oh yeah. I mean, more than that.
That's a 2-month offense?
No,
Yeah.
no.
He clopped mud in here this morning.
It's like 18 clops. It gives me an extra week.
18 clops, no more
Not
plops.
learning my lesson, and then sometimes I'm like extra like robotic in my emotions. Where
Damn, I gotta turn my volume down.
yeah, where I go an extended amount of time without giving any compliments or showing Crystal any love whatsoever.
This dinner is adequate.
Yeah. I'm too quiet to sit there, stare off in the distance.
How was your day? Hopefully it was not bad.
Yeah. And I don't do anything nice for her for a long time.
What does doing something nice for her mean? What is that? Like get her a drink or something? Or like
No, just like the random compliments, the random.
I'm
like,
good about the random compliments.
some sort of like not even gifts, but like niceties. Like hey, I thought about you and I got you whatever.
I go
just
too
a
far
thought
sometimes.
about you.
I thought about you last night. Yeah. You know what I mean? I go a little too far.
Well, I do that,
I go a
and
little-
then she
yeah.
yells at me. It's
Stop
like,
that.
It's not always about this. You got to be something else. It can't just be nothing then horny. And
Oh my
then I'm
God!
like,
You
I'm
just
sorry.
described my only speed. Like when I'm sleeping, I'm nothing.
I think it's all
when
men.
I open my eyes, horny.
I don't know how you're not ever not thinking about her. You're on the phone with her anytime we're not on air.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
well,
gonna
that's-
take that? You gonna take that?
Well, because she
has to know he's not cheating.
She
Right.
overly thinks like she's like, I'm thinking about you right now, so I'm calling you. I want to talk to you. I love you. All this
Oh,
stuff,
that's
like I
great.
want to spend time with you. I want to just snuggle with you. She want, and then
Yeah.
I don't reciprocate any of it.
I'll hate you.
No, I don't. I'm just
Thank
like,
you.
thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm like,
This
oh yeah, thank you.
snuggling means nothing to me.
But like, she picked up the phone. She's like, I was thinking about you like today, and I
Okay.
just want to talk to you. And then I'm like, all right.
Oh,
and
God,
then,
And that's it. Dead silence.
then I gotta know what to say because I'm like, if I say anything right now, it's gonna be the wrong
No,
thing.
you just said, unplug your ball, you too.
I do, and she's like, you don't have to say that. You could just be natural.
What, you want me to drive in silence while you listen to my podcast in the
Are you in a
background?
car? I'm in a car.
How's your car ride? My car ride's good. How's your car ride? My car ride's good.
This is insane.
And then she's like, with the boys, and then I hear the boys like, hi, daddy.
Yeah.
And then I'm
This
like,
is
hi,
every day,
Sanju.
by the way. Every day.
And then I'm like, what do you want to do?
I'm horny.
And then I don't know what to say to the kids because I'm like, how was your day today? They're like,
Are you in a car? Are you like, where? Where's the car?
and then I'm like, I'll be home soon. They're like, all right. They don't
care.
I'm like, why did you put me on this transaction? Who's getting anything out of this?
Yeah, Andrea does that to me too. Like when they're walking to dance, she'll be like, FaceTime. I'm like, all right, FaceTime. Okay, hey!
You turn it
do that,
on,
you-
yeah.
hey! You do Crust in the Cloud when you. When my wife, I hear. Hey! What's up, Maisie? Hey, baby. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to
Give
me?
him
I'm
the
trying to
crusty.
I'm trying to finish this job I have and then go take a diarrhea. Why are you doing this to me?
I don't even think they want it. They're just like, hey, there he is.
Well, Maisie
They just
doesn't
want to
want
get
it.
home and play
Yeah.
Switch.
Maisie's like, you want me to talk to dad? Hi, I'm going to dance. Don't care about you. You're done. You're done with your parenting. Bye. Click.
Yeah. There's like, it's done. I've got it from here.
Yeah, she's
All right. Let's see. We
okay.
got one more voicemail.
okay. Let's go with this one. I know that you and I think Sam agrees with you on you guys take a very, very aggressive stance when it comes to making fun of band nerds.
Not.
Hey guys,
Like
Very
a
Joe
pro?
here again. You're talking about some band kid stuff over on corporate time. I was a band nerd, pretty hardcore in school and growing up, trumpet player. I played, like you were talking about, all the upper register stuff, but no gaps in my teeth. Last thing I played in high school was Maynard Ferguson's Gonna Fly Now, and I ripped that ass up. It was pretty sweet. But that's me being a band nerd. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
I might be wrong on this. Isn't Gotta Fly Now the
like a theme song to like Delta?
Or is Gotta Fly Now? Wait, Gotta Fly
I
Now.
have no idea what.
Wait, Gotta Fly Now is the Rockies theme? Is that Gotta Fly Now?
I know what you were playing.
That song?
I think you're right. I think I'm wrong. I always get that one song that I was just playing with my mouth trumpet.
That song's Rocky.
The Gotta Fly Now. The Gotta Fly Now.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. So, is the band good for you in the long run, or does it not matter? For instance, a lot of people went to band. I did too. I never went to like marching band in like high school, but I did band in middle school and then like freshman year of high school, like just a band elective class.
Yes.
And
there are necessary skills in there that I think are good with band. Yeah.
Now I learned how to read music. I could play music on a trumpet or whatever. I can't now. I could probably still at least play the trumpet.
Yeah, I think you could get a noise out of it.
You know, I could. Yeah, but
you know what it does is it teaches you the dedication and teamwork that sports can deliver to most kids. For kids that don't, or maybe aren't athletic, or maybe like want to go a music track, like
you have to practice something,
right?
It teaches you to practice.
Yeah, and it teaches you being part of a team and executing, like being on a
and being responsible for a really expensive instrument.
I love the fact that Maisie's on a dance team. Like it's one thing to take dance, but I'm really into the fact that she's on this competition team for a lot of reasons that really don't have anything to do with dance. Like, dance is great, don't get me wrong. I love it. If she chooses to be a professional dancer, great. If she chooses not to, that's fine too. But what I really like about dance is that if she's late, they get on her. If she's not organized, they get on her. She has to have her backpack with all of her dance gear in there, her tap shoes, her jazz shoes. She's got to have her costume changes in there ready to go when they do other music. She has to have the little stretches, the little pamphlet with all the stretches in there. And when she has to get in there, she has to be standing at attention, ready to go. It's kind of like karate in the fact that you got to be in your spot, ready to go. No BS. If you got BS, go home. We'll send you home. I like that. It like teaches her, like, because in a weird way, if she can get through that, in my mind, I'm like, then any job she gets will be a piece of cake. If she has to go in, like, kind of like toe the line, she'll be all right. She can take direction from other people without getting her feelings hurt or getting upset.
I know it makes logical sense, but I always look back at my own life and I know I'm pessimistic and I make fun of everything, and so I don't attribute it, like anything to anything really.
Right.
But I look back at all the band and I'm like, I did nothing. I look back at like college, all the stuff, and I'm like, I can't really handpick anything that it did for me, but maybe I'm not looking at it correctly.
The practicing aspect of band was important for me, and I kind of shared that with Maisie now. And even now, when I bought that new drum set a couple of weeks ago, when I sit down to play, I still get that same feeling of accomplishment when I like look up a particular drum, let's say exercise that I want to accomplish, and I get it. Like, I don't know, like that's a necessary skill that I feel like if I did it more, it would be beneficial to me even at 45. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even me going and getting on my V drum set, getting a piece of sheet music that I don't know and practicing it and teaching myself something almost makes me feel like
it's an accomplishment.
It's like but it makes me feel like I'm activating my brain in certain ways that I don't normally do. So it almost makes me feel like it's like working out.
But
mental gymnastics.
Yeah, it's like mental gymnastic. I hate that term, but
I know.
Was that ingrained into you, in your personality, and that's why you're doing it?
That's a great
or
question.
Does
I don't
the
know.
band like teach you and help you modify that skill? Because
would
I
say
feel like a
both.
lot of stuff is ingrained, like. Because I remember the kids, like there were some kids that didn't do anything, and then some kids that really took to it, and you know what I'm saying, just like everything. So it's like, well, it doesn't seem like the actual band and this program helped them. The kids that were naturally hard workers did the stuff they were supposed to do, and the lazy kids
it's probably
didn't.
a little bit of both. Yeah.
So it's
because
like,
I learned through private lessons and being a section leader and taking it very seriously, then I had aligned myself with instructors and people that like only breathed and ate drums, right? So I was able to refine my practicing skills just being around those people. So I would say it's a little bit of both. Yes, that's probably in me. That's probably my dad's side. My dad was very determined to like, if I don't know something, I will learn something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that, I will figure it out. That's very much my dad. So, I'd say a little bit of both on that.
all right, bye-bye.
It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
We have an Airbnb.
Yes.
I'm just going to yell that whenever we start the show. Sorry, did I throw you for a loop?
You can book it at bookairtnd.com.
Well, that's professional.
And it'll go to our Airbnb website or link, and you could book it.
Yeah.
It's open this weekend, actually.
Yeah, snag it. There's a lot going on this weekend. There's big, there's Southern Fried Sundays.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, you could have the best seat in the house and have a place to come back and a private bathroom, ice cold air, a TV. You want to, watch a little sports.
Oklahoma Stackhouse's album release is Friday night at the Toughies or whatever, so you can go to that. Then Saturday, there's like 5 different events going on.
Yes.
One of them is a street party happening on the street.
That's
basically,
it's good for street parties.
Well, basically that our Airbnb is on,
Yes.
or at least 100 feet away. It's like the cross street. Right?
I think it's perfect. You don't want to be on the party street. You want to be adjacent to.
Yeah.
You just want to be adjacent to.
Anyway, it's walking distance to West End and downtown Sanford.
Yeah, so book it up, y'all.
Yeah.
And we're about to open more dates. It's going to be super duper fun. We were soft opening it, but now we're really leathering up the open, if you know what I mean. We're roughing it up.
Also, it's BDM Appreciation Week. Eric just informed me that over 1,000 thank you cards and gifts went out last night.
I thought you were going to say over 1,000 of those discounted T-shirts were ordered, and I was going to say, well, that's not going to work.
Oh, yeah,
well, some people,
a lot
800 people aren't getting T-shirts. How about that?
And so thank you for being a BDM, and you can sign up at tomanddan.com. So let's hit it.
All right, here we go.
Tom wanted to do a bit, he called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it, Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Speaking of BDM Appreciation Week, our awesome sponsor, Streamline Mortgage Solution, is sponsoring this, and they're the sponsor of Weird Job Wednesday. If you want a cash-out refi or a mortgage, use Brian Zymel and his team, streamlineflorida.com.
Indeed. We have Sylvia on the line, Tom, and she is our newest contestant for Weird Job Wednesday, and I believe she's overqualified.
Yeah.
This Sylvia.
She is an
got a lot
overachiever.
going on.
She's done a lot of stuff.
We've had some weird jobs on Weird Job Wednesday, but I believe you may have a job that nobody else, maybe in the world has. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so unique that I don't even know that for sure anybody listening to this has never even heard of this job, right?
I agree.
So, Sylvia, please explain, because Samantha read your job, and it was too long for me to even remember.
Well, it's multiple, right?
Yeah, we did have to stop her because at some point I was just like, okay, I get it. She's a very intelligent woman accomplishing lots of stuff.
Then it went into like some weird geopolitical.
Yeah, then it was like,
what is that?
Then you were tightening our government's borders, and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain in layman's terms, how would you classify what you do?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I try to do that every single day. So my primary job, I'm a full-time wheelchair user, so that has a lot to do with it. And for the last 6 years or 7 years, I've been traveling around the world by myself in a wheelchair, and I write about the accessibility of the places that I visit. And I write for that for my blog, Spin the Globe. And on top of that, I'm a brand ambassador for the company that makes my power chair. So it's my job to basically take pictures of myself looking awesome, living my best life in my wheelchair and posting them on the internet.
But the reality of that is also, though, you have to kind of dip into the places, the difficulties or lack thereof, depending on when you're traveling and you are confined to a wheelchair, it's going to be a little bit different. So do you have to be like, how do you handle the critiques without letting them get a little too maybe snarky, or like how do you do that?
That's actually a really good question. Most of the time when I travel, I pay out of pocket,
right?
So I can say pretty much whatever I want. However, there are some times that I do press trips where a destination will either comp me the hotel and food or whatever, or they'll pay me a little bit to go and write about it, and also to educate them on how they can make the accessibility better. And every time that I get offered a press trip, I tell them, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be honest, because for me and for my readers, it's a matter of safety.
Exactly.
So if I fudge just to make my sponsor happy, then that could potentially cause somebody injury or disappointment, or they're spending a lot of money for a vacation and they get there and it doesn't work for them. So I tell them I'm going to be polite, but I'm going to be honest, and they're actually really great with that because they want to know where they can make things better, and if something isn't up to snuff when it comes to either the Americans with Disabilities Act or just a sense of safety and comfort, they want to make that better.
It's also, too, that, I mean, just to the very minimal aspect of this, it's your integrity on the line. So anytime you're doing, like, a review of something, and it is cool that you're up front with them and then also up front with your readers or your blog, you know, the people that enjoy your blog, and letting them know kind of, you know, the behind the scenes, or being transparent as to, yeah, they asked me to come here. Is it, have you ever had to turn anything down because maybe you didn't think it would be a good fit, or maybe you thought it would be something that maybe your writing would get a little too mired down into negativity?
Oh, all the time. And I'm very upfront with that. Sometimes I just say, look, I was supposed to go to actually a conference. I'm not going to mention which one.
Sure.
Because, I like them a lot. And there wasn't going to be a good option for accessible transportation. That's one of the biggest stumbling blocks, even here in the United States. Like, if I have my own van, I have an accessible van, and I did a 6,500-mile road trip with my boys last summer.
Nice.
So I drive everywhere. But there's so many cities, even in the U.S., like let's say Los Angeles, right? It's huge, it's spread out. But if I wanted to go there and fly there, just if I wanted to go to do just the typical tourist stuff, it would be so hard for me to get from one place to the other that it's a no-go. So this particular city, not nearly as big, but just going to the conference, they were having a tough time figuring out how I would just get from the hotel to the conference center. Right. And I've been invited on press trips to other smaller towns or smaller cities where the transportation was the biggest obstacle, and I would just say, hey, I'm not going to be able to do it. This isn't going to work out.
Interesting. I've never thought about the rental car difficulties that you would have.
What about the airplane? I don't think I've ever seen someone with a wheelchair get on my flight before, and I don't know where the wheelchair goes, or if you get into a regular seat, or if you just they take out one of the seats.
I'm gonna be honest. Since we have Sylvia here, and Sylvia's I feel like we have a valuable resource here.
Yeah.
I too am going to weigh in and say in all the multitude of times I've flown, I have never seen that as well. The only time I've ever seen it, and this doesn't necessarily count because it's just a quick trip, is I've seen it on a roller coaster or something where somebody in a powered chair will pull over to the thing, and then they get in the ride, and then somebody will assist their chair to the side and kind of tuck it away.
Or
and then
a city bus where they fold up the chairs on the side.
Right.
And then you can wheel in your wheelchair, and then they strap you in. Yeah.
Interesting. How does it work with a plane? So you have a pretty sophisticated chair, right? And
I do.
So it does a lot for you. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. And it's really a trip to watch. It's a very Hannibal Lecter experience. So what I do, and what a lot of wheelchair users do, is we roll up to the door of the plane, and then we transfer to what's called an aisle chair. And this is a very, very narrow, typically very uncomfortable, straight-backed chair where they have to strap you in, they strap you in tight, like I said, like Hannibal Lecter, with a strap over your legs, and you look like a Formula One driver with all the stuff over your shoulders, or like a baby in a car seat, pretty much.
Right.
Now, then the ramp people take your wheelchair and they stow it under the plane, where they put strollers and gate-checked bags and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Then they wheel me onto the plane in that aisle chair, and then they pick me up and transfer me to my aircraft seat. This is, needless to say, not always a smooth experience, because I have to be physically picked up. I can sort of transfer myself, but it's not as comfortable and it's a lot slower.
Sure.
And I don't like the pressure of having to move because everybody's boarding, and it's a real pain in the butt. And of course, the stress of having my wheelchair broken or damaged, and most people don't know this, but on average, 25 wheelchairs are damaged or broken or lost every single day by the airlines.
That's what they said in the chat.
day.
Literally, 3 different people in the chat said that.
I thought you were going to say a year.
Yeah,
Every day.
I have
That's
seen
ridiculous.
I have seen how they toss my luggage. In fact, one time, I will give you real facts. I've never seen someone who's disabled get on a plane. So we're hearing about that now. What I have seen is out my window the man throwing my burgundy away luggage, and he is winging it he's throwing someone he hates.
Yeah.
He's like
strong.
Yeah, he's literally like that guy.
He played college ball.
Yeah, remember that old man? Remember that old man that got bit by a fox and he yeeted it across the yard? It's like that. He yeets it and it gets destroyed. So yes, this makes sense that
they do not care.
They don't care.
Don't care.
They don't. Yeah, they don't care, and they're union.
And what?
So you can't get fired.
And here's my last question, because I know Tom's got some questions for you too. Like what? Just to give our audience an idea. So your chair gets broken. Your chair cost what?
Well, I have 2 different chairs. The one that I travel with costs $4,000, but the one that I use at home and the one that many wheelchair users have to travel with because of their level of disability, my chair that I use at home costs $35,000.
Yeah, that's where I was waiting for, the big number. Yeah, I've heard some numbers before. These are really sophisticated pieces of equipment, you know?
And they're custom fit. They are, so many of them, the cushioning and everything is absolutely custom fit to that individual. So if it gets broken, it's not like they say, well, we're just going to give you a manual chair to borrow until we can fix your chair at home. Like, no, it does not work that way.
Well, it's an extension of you. I mean, it's no different than, I mean, it makes sense that it would be unique to you and only you. So, man, this is a lot of stuff we've never heard before.
Sylvia, I'm curious to how this whole thing started, because people hear you now and they probably think, well, that sounds like a dream job. You travel around, you stay at different locations, and you write about it.
Yeah.
But it's
the amount of work she had to do to get here.
Yes, with every dream job, there is an insane amount of backlog of work to get there, and so I'm sure you had to start out of your own pocket and build this thing over years. So how did it work?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Florida. I was born and raised here, and I was
from Sanford.
I live in Sanford. I do.
Right.
We've got an Airbnb, not wheelchair
accessible. It is not wheelchair accessible. My
But if you stay there, I will go and lift you up there personally.
I will lift you. I too will lift you.
I appreciate that.
Don't stay there and write bad about it.
I know.
Give us the time to fix it, please.
It's a deal.
We'll Photoshop the ramp.
Yeah.
It's a deal. So I was on active duty in the Air Force for 8 years, and then I was medically retired. After that, I got married, and my ex-husband's still in the Air Force. We were traveling around. Got divorced in 2015, and then I moved back here. I have 2 kids. They live with him during the school year. So all of a sudden, I found myself here back in Florida on my own, dealing with the divorce and all that comes with that. And I've been traveling since I was 5. I've been traveling solo since I was 22. And I said, you know what? I need to heal. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this new life. Let me go back to travel. But now here I am. I'm using a wheelchair. I've been using a wheelchair full time for about 7 years. How do I do this travel thing? And especially, how do I do it by myself? And at the time, there were maybe a couple of blogs about accessible travel, but not that many. And there wasn't just a lot of information out there. But I was able to find a few things and figure a few things out. And I said, okay, let me start traveling. So go big or go home, right?
Sure.
So at the time, I had 2 friends who were teaching in Dubai, and I'd been wanting to go to Dubai for a really long time. And Emirates had just started direct flights from Orlando to Dubai.
Right, yeah.
So I said, and they had an open invitation for people to go. I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's go. So my very first international flight as a solo wheelchair user was 16 hours from Orlando to
You're
Dubai.
Oh my God.
I mean
And-
this with love, but you're an insane person. Like, I have an intense fear of flying, and I don't know what it is. I've been able to overcome it. It's crazy to me that sight unseen in a wheelchair, kind of new to this stepping back out into travel, and you're like, yeah, let me just go 24 hours across the globe.
Why not? Why not? Right? But go big or go home. But here's the thing: is like if I can do that, I can go anywhere.
Right, you're right. Get the hard
So-
stuff done first, and going to the Bahamas will be nothing.
I know, right? So I did that trip, and it went really well. And then a few months later, I went on a cruise. It wasn't solo. I've done like 20 solo cruises since then. But I went on an Alaska cruise with my best friend, and that went great. Then I went to Iceland by myself, and then I went to Australia by myself, and that was a long trip too. And after I did this the first year, I said, you know what? I'm a professional writer. I've been writing about Mexico's drug war and border security as an analyst for like 14 years. And I've written several books. And I said, you know what? If I can write all that stuff, why am I not writing about this experience? And that's where I started the blog. And since then, I've done 48 countries as a wheelchair user, and I've done 35 of those countries by myself. I've been on 22 cruises as a wheelchair user, and 17 of those by myself. So.
Wow.
That's amazing. And just to throw that little piece in there about how you've been writing about border security and the drug issues, Mexican border to the U.S. for 14 years, you said?
14 years.
Tom and I got into podcasting because we had a jet ski rental place on Lake Falcon. I don't know if you know Falcon Lake, where those people got beheaded in Mexico.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember
and
that.
Tom and I were renting jet skis out there. We
Come on,
that
that's
got
up.
it's all the tourists got chased away with the beheadings, so we
Sylvia.
got into podcasting.
Sylvia,
That story terrified me.
so when you're I'm curious about the plane flight because
Back to the planes.
so just getting on sounds like
A nightmare.
I don't even like getting on with
huge amount of work.
with I guess relatively okay working legs. I don't like planes.
So
I don't either.
and I also, and listen, my sister-in-law is a flight attendant, and she she tells me the animals she has to deal with like on the flight.
Oh my God.
I mean, the people are horrible. So with that, because people are horrible, it just wears them down as flight attendants to a point where I imagine like they're just going through the motions. Now, when you have to use the bathroom on a long flight, they have to take the aisle wheelchair and then do the whole process and take you to the bathroom. Is that how it works?
I didn't think about that.
It is for people who can transfer. And now because of my specific brand of MS, I can't move my legs independently because I have specific muscles that can't work. But if I plant my feet, I can pivot and use my upper body to transfer. And when I get to the lavatory, I can do the same thing. I grab onto one of the grab bars and I can stand up and pivot to the toilet.
Oh, nice.
However, a good chunk of wheelchair users, one of my really close friends does exactly what I do, but he has a specific brand of muscular dystrophy, and he needs help doing most things. And he can't use the bathroom on planes. A lot of wheelchair users can't use the bathroom on planes. So what my friend does is he has to start dehydrating and starving himself about 24 hours before a long flight because he can't use the lavatory at all. I'm lucky.
God.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I can. I'm lucky also that I have a cast iron bladder, and if I do more or less the same thing, I can go about 12, max 14 hours without having to use the bathroom on a plane. Because even if I do, it's really difficult and it's dangerous because on a good day when nothing is moving, it's still uncomfortable to do. It's a tight space. But imagine any kind of turbulence or the plane moving around, and my sense of balance is very finely tuned because the way that my body moves and balance, and literally a centimeter can make a difference on whether or not I fall over or fall down. So it's something that we try to avoid, and in some cases, it's not a possibility.
Wow, that is amazing. You have the tiniest bladder of anybody I've ever met. Tom, my business partner. Like this
I
guy.
have to pee right now.
Yeah, you guys could do.
Tony Rage too.
You, Tony Monjet, and Whistling Toothpicks could all do a bladder off, and I swear to God, these guys can't hold it for 20 minutes. I can. I can also. I too am a 12 to 14 hour.
We know I can. Yeah, I did a whole 8-hour boat ride with these guys, and I would.
How did you do that?
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, women are stronger than men.
That's
I mean,
true.
My prostate's a red hot chestnut. I gotta pee at all times. So Sylvia, I'm curious about some I guess some social faux pas about and I'll explain.
You mean like average wheelchair user etiquette?
So Sylvia, what if let me ask you a question. If you are standing
dare you
in your chair and there's steps and there's no ramp, right? And I'm there next to you.
Why are you there?
Can I offer?
Yeah, why are you there?
I'm just saying.
Leave Sylvia alone.
Can I offer to how awkward is if I'm
okay, Sylvia.
If I want to get you up these stairs, I'll just pick you up and then carry you.
Jana Banana on her head at our old studio. With Jana
that was
Banana,
because I was trying to lift her chair up the stairs.
Some say that after that head bonk, she's never been the same.
Oh my God.
I was trying to do the move where you the dolly move, or you get at a certain angle and you're able to get down the stairs.
There's a human being. Yeah. You don't dolly them down the stairs.
No,
Sylvia,
first thing you got to do is ask. I hope you're not just reaching down to
No, if you ask me, and of course, it depends on how good looking the man is. But
So now that we're going there, we Googled you too, lady, and you're doing all right for yourself. Let me just
Miss
say.
Wheelchair USA.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
Miss Wheelchair USA. Ho ho.
So,
me and Tom are like, woo woo.
So let's talk about Miss Wheelchair USA. Is it everybody from every state is represented like regular Miss USA? How does that work?
Yeah, it's not every state. It just it matters where people apply from, and usually it's about 12 to 16 women from around the country, and it was really one of the most amazing experiences of my life. At the time, I didn't know any other wheelchair users personally, and certainly not any women. And these are women who have just a wide variety of disabilities, different types of life experiences, and wheelchairs, and different ages, and just bringing us all together to have this experience and get to know each other and push each other. I remember one of my really good friends, Eleni, out in Louisiana, and she was so shy and so sweet, and she would always look to me to kind of be her mouthpiece, I guess, because she was so shy to speak up about things, and helping other women gain this confidence, because talking about your platform was just like in a regular pageant like that was one aspect, and really it was the most important aspect of the competition, is what you wanted to advocate for. And for me, it was programs, trying to push for programs that would assist children who had parents with disabilities. So I have 2 boys, and they're my biggest inspiration. But getting up on stage, I'm a professional speaker. Put me in front of a microphone or a camera, and I am good to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of these women had never been on a stage, had never spoken on a microphone before, and being able to see them grow and blossom and make these friends and just flourish and grow their confidence as women in wheelchairs and the powerful people that they are was really one of the most magical experiences of my life.
That's awesome.
Sylvia, I gotta tell you, you are a super impressive human being.
I mean, we don't do a lot of positivity on this show because we're kind of knuckleheads and we're
I was just
fools.
Thinking to myself, I'm like, man, Sylvia has such a good outlook at life. She's such a good person. And I'm like, I am miserable.
Trust me.
Anyway.
Oh, no, you guys are awesome. I went to your land cruise last year, and you guys are awesome.
Oh, my God.
That thing, I was like, oh, God,
that
it's
wasn't
here.
wheelchair accessible either. Oh, my God, what have we done?
You think it would be the day of that? I was like, oh, this whole thing, too much work. Mad about everything.
But I needed to talk to somebody like you today. Like, seriously, it's always
thank you.
It's always nice to have somebody come in and tell a story that, like, because we a lot of us aren't challenged enough, and some of the challenges that other people are handled are given are ginormous, right? And when you see somebody that's able to accomplish as much as you have, seemingly with I hate the term, but seemingly without the head start that a lot of us had, or without, being able to walk around or confined to a wheelchair, it's amazing to me, and it really gives me a huge dose of be grateful, gratitude. And if she can be strong, then you can be strong.
Yeah.
You know
It tells me like quit bitching about everything.
100%.
Yeah, like,
look how happy you are. You're beautiful, like a beautiful, successful woman traveling the globe in a wheelchair. It's like, oh my God, and I get mad. Oh, they put pickles on my Chick-fil-A. Stupid.
Oh my God, I get extra pickles.
Me
on my
too.
Chick-fil-A.
Me
How do
too.
you not want pickles?
I was making fun of my wife. She hates pickles.
Oh no, gotcha.
Sylvia, I'm curious to how many people reach out to you that are wheelchair bound that appreciate what you do, because I imagine you're one of the few people doing this and telling people like, hey, you're giving people the real about like, hey, this is what I experienced, so that they know, because I bet a lot of people are afraid to go to places because when you get there, they can't, utilize the property or the experience. And like, how prevalent is that? Like, it's, with the Americans with Disabilities Act and that being passed, like obviously all commercial properties have to be wheelchair accessible, but how many times you encounter places that you can't, utilize or move around in?
Oh
my God,
that was a positive veto.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a positive female veto.
She's related to you.
Oh my God, she's my exact opposite.
Yeah. Well, people, I have a decent social media following, and people reach out to me all the time. I've written a few books about like accessible cruising. I wrote a solo wheelchair travel memoir, just kind of laying out my experiences. So I get a lot of feedback about that, and people asking me questions about specific destinations, which makes me feel good, and it makes me feel even better. Where almost on a daily basis, I'll get messages from people where they said, hey, I finally went on a cruise, or I finally went to XYZ destination because I saw your pictures or I read your blog post about it, and I was inspired to do it, or I finally got the courage up to do it because of what you wrote. And I literally cry every time I see that, because that is my mission accomplished. That's my goal in life, and that's what I do.
That's so cool.
That being it is. And to your other question, ADA is a starting point and a guideline, or just kind of a suggestion for some businesses. And hotel rooms are a mess, and I would say that probably 80 to 90% of the hotel rooms that I stay at, if not 100%, have some sort of ADA violation, and 50% of the hotel rooms that I stay in, I can't use the shower. The toilet I can use. It's like 2 out of 3. Like, I need to be able to take a shower. I need to be able. I don't need to. Like, sponge baths have become my specialty. So I need to use the toilet, and I need to be able to get into the bed, and we won't even get into the bed situation. But the bathroom, I need a roll-in shower, which is where it's flat, and you can just roll in, and then I can transfer to the shower bench. But many times, the bench will be on the opposite end of where the controls are for the water and for the shower, so I can't reach them.
You're right, and you can't get there because the bench
Why
is there.
would they do that?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I've never thought of that.
Are they effing with you?
It is. It's almost like a prank.
Yeah, like oh, fool you. Yeah, no, it's not fun. And property, then that's some way that I can reach it, but it's not very stable, it's dangerous, and it's still an ADA violation.
Right.
And there's no way to enforce it because there is no enforcement arm, there are no inspections for the ADA, and the burden is on the wheelchair user to file an ADA lawsuit against the property, and even then there's no financial benefit for us in it. The only thing that we get out of the ADA lawsuit is for the situation to be corrected, and a lot of times it's not, and a lot of times we're not going to go there again. So yeah, it's more of that we are the enforcement arm for the ADA, and that really sucks.
That is extremely unfortunate. We need to do better on that.
Well, especially with all the other government enforcement that we have, like,
They were quick on our curtains, I'll tell you that. I mean, Baldwin Park will come in here and tell me I got the wrong color curtains up, but they don't give a damn about y'all's wheelchair rates.
The government can enforce a lot of things when it's beneficial to them money-wise, but when it comes to, like, actual society and the doing what's decent for
No, but I would be willing
citizens,
to bet if she owed a lot of taxes, they'd have a ramp leading up to the bank for her to pay those taxes.
Right.
They'd have a ramp all the way up for her to stroke that huge $1,000 check.
So, Sylvia, let's put a public service announcement out there, because recently I was traveling. I was in the Atlanta airport, and I went in to use the bathroom with my son, Tommy, and we noticed. I mean, it was packed full. I mean, of stressed out businessmen, and the handicap stall was cracked open, and no one was using it, but there was a line, and then some businessman was like, "Hey, there's a guy with his son. You could use this one.
Take your son in there."
I walked in the handicap stall. That was the only one that was open, and
you always feel guilty about this, and I have always said that as long as you look left, look right, and you don't see any chairs, I kind of feel like you're okay.
Well, yeah, it's not even about that. It was the fact that some animals annihilated it to the point where it was so disgusting.
It's the resting bathroom. It's the people that you go in there to smoke weed and check your phone.
Out for a while.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, come on, you are adults, and you annihilated the handicap bathroom. No one could use this. No one.
I know what you're doing. You're in there playing Wordle, and you're taking a dump. You're playing Wordle. You're taking a dump and smoking weed.
Clean up. Like, if you annihilated the other bathroom, whatever, but the handicap stall, you annihilated it and you left, and it is unusable for anybody, including people that can only use it if they're in a wheelchair.
I would say especially.
You are a horrible person. Like, just clean up after yourselves or contact.
We just go to another, and especially at the ATL airport. You know, there's always a bathroom, but that's like an etiquette thing. Now, I've been through a million airports. Obviously, it's a job hazard, and if there's a long line of people, I get in line. I get in line with everybody else. But a lot of times, people tell me, "Oh no, just go to the front." And people are generally nice, and you know, there are so many just people are not my favorite sometimes. But honestly, accessible travel, it sounds really crazy, kind of renews my faith in humanity, because 99 out of 100 strangers will be very kind and want to help.
I agree.
And their heart is in the right place. So they don't mind if I get in the front, and when that stall opens up, then they'll be like, "Oh no, you go ahead." People never give me a hard time about that. And if all of the stalls are full, it doesn't bother me at all if somebody uses the accessible stall. I really don't care, because it's a lot of people, and I totally get that. What does really, really rub me the wrong way, and I curse like a sailor, so I'm being polite here and using my good person language.
Okay.
If I go to let's say a movie theater bathroom that's got a gazillion stalls, and there's somebody in the accessible stall, and they're putting on their makeup or changing their clothes, and every other stall is empty, that's where I get really ticked off. It's really, of all the ones you had to use, but because people just want the extra space.
You know who does that? You know who's the worst offender of that? Are these goddamn balloon clowns at these wing restaurants. They're always in the ladies'
doing their clown
handicap
makeup?
stall, putting on their clown makeup, floofing their flowers, poofing their pants. Get out of there, clown. You get in a regular stall. Unless you're a handicap clown, in which case it's
Correct,
okay.
yeah.
Please tell me you wait outside the door, so when they get out, you're just
with your arms crossed.
No, I need a pad and a pencil and then a press hat. Like I'm right.
Every time, and I roll up as close to the door as I can so they can see my wheels underneath the door.
That's when I climb up over the top into the other one.
And then go all the way across and you run out the door.
Yeah. I could never face you if you were sitting out there. Well, Sylvia, thanks so much for participating in our Weird Job Wednesday. You are truly a good person.
And where can people read if they want to, read it, be a part of it, see where your travels lead you, and participate in your publications? Where can people find it?
Oh, thank you. So my blog is spinning around, spintheglobe.net. And my most recent book, my memoir, is called What Happened to You, and you can find that on Amazon.
Oh, I might snag that. I didn't know you had a book out. What Happened to You? It's on Amazon. Sylvia, thank you so much for the time.
Oh, I got one last question.
Yes, Tom.
How is the drug war going?
Yeah.
I heard about it a while.
I talked to my wife about that last night at dinner. I'm eating my fish stick. I'm like, how's the drug war?
Yeah, it's you know what? As long as people are using, somebody's going to be selling. It's still going.
No, it's still going.
Yeah, I'm still using it.
It's still going. All right, Sylvia. Well, take care of yourself, and hopefully
each other.
we'll.
What are you, Jerry Springer?
And now we'll end with Tom's final thoughts.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Thank you.
Why'd you have to say goodbye to her 19 times? You're embarrassing me.
I never know how to end.
So when are we installing the ramp at the Air T&D?
Oh, don't talk about it. We'll put it in the back. Wait, the back has one. I'll just say that. Come in through the back.
No,
They can't reach the gate latch.
No one can reach it. I can't reach any latch. I'm 5'2".
Yeah. If someone with that has a
Put
wheelchair,
it in the notes like you do in the pub sub. You put like light tomatoes.
just mention it, and I'll run over there, lift you in and out every time.
No, I'll just put a piece of plywood down.
Yeah. We can make a ramp, right?
What if we put a piece of?
I can manufacture.
Shave the stairs down with some sandpaper.
I say that, but we've had an incident already with the frames falling off the walls.
Don't talk about it.
So
what did I tell you guys use? I told you not to use those contact strips.
No, this wasn't that. It's
It was Tom.
I'll tell
It was
Mo.
all Tom.
Oh God, is Mo here? I see her.
I nailed it.
He's on his way.
The photography cowboy out there.
Yeah. I saw him walk in. Anyway, it's imagine just the amount of work it is for Sylvia to do these solo trips. Like, I bitch about going to Colorado I bitch about going to Colorado and then just like flying to Atlanta, then layover, then fly to, it's like, I'm like, oh God. That's me. I'm walking around fine.
I got a hot take.
Yeah.
I would rather travel in a wheelchair alone than with my family. It's easier. It would be. Maybe I should say that. Not. I would rather. That's not fair. That's not nice. I would No, that's not what It would be easier for me to travel in a wheelchair alone than it is for me to travel with my wife and daughter. And I think it would be easier for you to travel in a wheelchair alone than it is for you, your wife, and 2 boys to travel. It's too many pieces. But if you were just in your chair and only responsible for you, I think it's easier.
No. I mean, I
think it's easier than kids. The kids are like that.
Well, she has 2 kids, and she's in a wheelchair.
She was talking about traveling alone.
Yeah, solo.
And maybe she has really good kids. We have really good kids, but maybe they'd just stand next to her and they're just they're helping her or something. I don't know.
Let's hope.
Could you imagine the other passengers? And I know she says 99% of the people are good, but I know she probably feels the energy of when they have to transfer her from her chair to the aisle chair and strap it. That takes a process, and there's probably still people in line. I bet she feels bad, but she's like, "There's nothing I can do."
Maybe not. Maybe she's not like you, where she cares about what other people think.
But people are like, "Oh,
would they?"
Yes.
With someone in a wheelchair.
You know what sealed the deal for me, and I'll put it in language that you will understand. When I was on the Haunted Mansion. And that thing goes down, and they're like, "Please wait. A ghost host will be starting your ride momentarily." And everybody's like, handicap! Handicap!
Oh, my God.
Ruining my day! Handicap! And that was me yelling that. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
As they're sitting in a moving chair.
I went over to my wife. I'm like, "Goddamn handicap." So...
See, the problem is people won't they'll be nice to her face.
There's always room for one more.
But don't forget your death certificate.
I'm sure she feels and sees people's eye roll, and people are make visible noises or audible noises.
I'm sure it happens every once in a while.
Who's real bad about that? Jim Colbert.
Yeah.
He's
Man, yeah. And then imagine you go to a hotel, you pay a bunch of money, and
you can end up paying $1,000 and your suite's not even
and
accessible.
Then you're like, I can't take a shower. What the hell is that? I'd be like, you better take money off of my bill. You're I can't even use your shower.
100% agree. Yeah. If you get if a person in a wheelchair books the same room that I have and they can't use the shower, can't use the toilet, or barely can use the toilet and can't get into the bed, you have to discount the rate.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to.
And then it's you only have 2 wheelchair accessible rooms. That's it in the whole 800 rooms.
It makes more sense. And I'm not a genius, but make all of them accessible, and then let us be the workaround, right? The people that aren't in the chair.
They're cheap. It costs more money to make it accessible.
Not if I almost feel like it wouldn't.
They cut corners.
I almost feel like it wouldn't if the design was good to begin with. Then I think it would be possible to you just have to have a creative and an intelligent design, right? You got to get somebody smart
More
in there.
materials,
It's going
though.
to take their time.
There's got to be, every time I'm in a resort pool, I always look over at the wheelchair, like, lowering thing.
I never see that. I always thought that was a broken basketball hoop. I look at it, I'm like, what the hell is that? That's to get fat people out of the pool.
And it's a gigantic piece of
It's a whale
machinery
winch.
that is, like, I guess electric, so that, I bet that thing
Not
like,
the one.
cost
The one that I saw.
$80,000.
Crank.
Oh,
hand
yeah,
Yeah, the one I
the
saw.
crank.
Like, and that's embarrassing with that.
Yeah. And I bet you, and I always think about, like the owner is this like New York guy that is like, like he's mad that he has to put it in. Like, I don't know, it makes me laugh. I could just imagine some guy from Brooklyn that owns a hotel bitching about.
Oh God, you got to use the winch.
No, just about the fact that he has to buy it and install it.
It ruins the look. Oh, don't put it near the palm trees.
Yeah, but it's just like a D head.
It does. Okay,
Yeah.
I will say that the one at the Four Seasons, I like the Four Seasons here in town. I like their pool setup and everything. I've only been there one time. Look, I don't go there. I'm just going to say I got spoiled during the pandemic. I got that sweet Florida rate when everybody was dying, and they were like, well, this might be the end of the world. Lower the prices so the riffraff could get in. So me, being little Danny Riffraff, we went to the Four Seasons for an extended stay, and I fell in love with their little lazy river area. And the winch, we would always go over in the area that we chose to kind of settle down as a family was where the handicap pool winch thing is. And they put it off in the bag where nobody wanted to see it. They don't put it in a good area.
Will they, like, if you try to use it without being handicapped, will they yell at you? Or
They will, but then you got to act real handicapped. You got to like you got to sell it. I mean, it could mean anything. You could be like, my legs don't work. See? Just like push them around. I don't know what you do. They're not going to ask you because
there are people that fake being handicapped
all the time.
All the time. Which is like, why?
I've been faking my
do
anxiety
that?
on this show just for sympathy.
Like Sylvia would be like,
There's
hey.
a lot of teens that'll like be at the stores with the grocery carts that are like, they're not even injured and they're just riding around in it like little a-holes.
Oh, yeah. The motorized scooter.
motorized.
I laugh when you are a parent and you put your 10-year-old in the front spot where his legs stick through.
I laugh.
No matter that child's intelligence, I make fun of you. Like, I'm like, that just can't be. You got to have them walk. They got to walk.
Yeah.
You got to let them walk. You got to.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're literally, what's their IQ? 0? Make them walk. You got to make them walk. You're doing it. You're not helping them.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
We're beginning here, right?
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
No?
On the fly, we're beginning.
Yeah. BDM Appreciation Week.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
The gifts are out in the mail.
Gifts are out.
And so BDM should be receiving them soon. Just sign up at tomanddan.com. What should we do first?
Let's do some voicemail. You got any emails?
Sure.
Let's go. Since it is BDM Appreciation Week, and we're kind of giving love to our most sacred of listeners. All of you matter, but, BDMs, they matter a little bit more because they pay a little bit extra to get extra shows. And this person is kind of weighing in on remember our gift card dilemma that we had? We went to went to Publix trying to figure out gift cards and then buying gift cards and then buying lottery. Anyway, so this person weighing in on our little gift card dilemma.
Hey guys, Hilton at BDM, listening to ACT Digital Meatballs. Tom is confused as to what they're talking about when they said there was a scam when you guys are going to pick up the gift cards. They didn't think you were the scammer. They thought you were the scamee. They're making sure that you're not buying all these gift cards to pay the Nigerian, right? Because that's what they do. They get these old mimas and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you owe us you owe the IRS $8,000 and you're going to go to Target and get us gift cards and give me the gift card numbers, and they fall for that.
I have never. Now that makes me feel like the young teens that are
thought
old
that
teens.
we were dumb old men.
Yeah, but that made me a
with
little
our,
sad.
Mimo
with our handler. It looked like two dumb old men with apparently our nurse.
She's the scammer. She's like, get the gift card.
I think that these old teens at Publix thought you and I were an older gay couple.
Okay, all right.
And we're both senile old gay men.
Yeah.
I think most people in Orlando think that you and I are old senile gay men. And I was going to call you Robin for some reason.
Wow.
And Samantha is our nurse.
That's better than the reputation I thought I had.
Okay.
So it's an upgrade to me.
Now, it is weird to me to think that these two older teens that were checking us out of line, they weren't like checking us out, you know what I mean? That they would be that nice, because if I worked there, I would just sell you the gift cards that I would. And I'm not saying I would, and I'm a chirper, but I would mind my business. It is not my business whether or not you're being scammed or not. If you're buying $8,000 worth of Cracker Barrel gift cards, it's not my business.
And by the way, if you're already getting ready to purchase these, you don't think you're being scammed, right? You've already bought into the fact that this is legit.
Oh yeah, this is a yes.
Right.
You're right.
So when they're like, "Hey, are you being scammed?" Like, no, this is
You're
legit.
gonna say no, or you're like, hold on a second.
Am I?
Oh my God, I am. Put these back.
Put back these 10,000 gift cards.
Maybe when they say no and then they explain the scam, then the teen's like, "Oh yeah, that's a scam."
You're definitely being scammed.
Or she just
Well,
says
we
that.
said no, and she didn't say anything. She
Yeah,
just said,
yeah.
"Okay."
They
I'm
just
not
have to ask.
trusting
I
this
know,
teen.
yeah.
I'm trusting my gay husband and say I'm a nurse.
Yeah. Anytime you're at a company and they're asking you a question, they don't really care. They just were told.
They're obligated
They're
to,
obligated. They just have to because their boss
It's
says.
a formality.
Yeah.
All right.
Like-
You got an email over there?
Yes. So this is about BDM appreciation. They
Perfect.
said appreciation month. They thought it was
Month!
a month.
Oh, hold on a
No,
second.
we're done
That's
with it
not-
after the
That's not true.
Saturday.
That's a
Interesting
lie.
email though. It says, "Dear show, please do not send me anything for BDM appreciation."
Write this guy's
month.
name down, quick. Double check me. Oh God.
What's his name?
My billing address is not my mailing address, and I don't want that beep getting cool stuff. So it sounds like there was a breakup happening. So they moved out of that mailing address, and instead of canceling my subscription just for April, please don't send me anything. Sorry to bother.
So this guy who doesn't want
I don't know that it's a guy.
He doesn't want, or this girl doesn't want her bitch of a husband or
Yeah,
whomever,
yeah.
or a girlfriend or wife
get their present?
To get the present. I like that.
I do too. I like that too.
I support your pettiness.
We that is noted, and we'll put that in the system.
Yeah, we
Love it.
put it in. Hey,
Doing the math,
and by
putting
the-
it in the system,
Eric
it
put it
means
in the
nothing.
system.
And by the system, I mean Sam gently laying it on the carpet.
Correct.
to
There's
throw
the
away.
system. That's my system.
Then it'll be thrown away later.
It's called the carpet
And
system.
we'll see.
it's as useful as an old teen telling the two old men that they're being scammed.
Let's hope they just get the sticker, right?
Or nothing.
Everybody's getting a lottery ticket, or something.
Wait, don't say everybody. Everybody?
Well,
Let's hope the person in the
so
UK
you're being-
isn't
you're
getting
being
a
one
little.
fourth
Stop
of
saying
total
everybody.
BDM.
Yeah, you're saying
Well, everybody that got
everybody.
everyone is getting something, and then
Okay.
if you don't get something, I said, well, I didn't say it yet. But,
Don't say it.
I was just like,
Stop.
post on the BDM page. We're like, I didn't get nothing. We'll send you something.
Yeah, we'll send you something.
know.
Squeaky wheel scenario.
Yeah.
Let's try this one.
Hello, this is JJ. I was just listening to the last BDM show, and I have to say that Sam had a great idea with butt grape awareness. That would make a fantastic t-shirt. I would definitely wear it with pride because I got a couple bundles. Thanks.
Bundles.
Oh,
Hold on a
no.
second. I don't even have bundles.
No.
I don't even know what a bundle is. I had a grape, sir. I did not have a bundle, as you said.
Yeah. Also, you're not going to wear that shirt because you're going to be out at your niece's birthday party.
Yeah, you're not
They're
going
like,
to
"What
go. You're going to
Come
see.
on.
You're going to see your nephew get sworn into the Marines, right? He's 18. He's going to serve this country. He's going to serve this country. He's going away. He's braver than brave. Thank you for your service. You're going to wear butt grape awareness shirt to that. You're not going to do that.
I have a butt grape email.
What's wrong? What are you doing? You just turned
You
around.
all right?
What was I?
I thought Mo, I heard Mo, and then I was like, should we get Mo in here?
I mean, if you want to,
Well, we
we've
can
al-
just wait until we do a full segment with them, right?
Yeah. That's not how he works. He wants us to stop
Well,
on
he's busy.
6 minutes and then go like.
I mean, we can
I
do
want
the
to.
transition live on
I
air.
just want to cater to Mo because
you
he's
can
a
have
busy
him run
man.
here right now.
Mos.
I mean, we can have him running right now. We can run it loose.
All right. Mo, you want to get all right? We're
All
doing
right.
You're running it loose.
I don't want to make him sit out there for the whole
What, he made us
15
sit?
minutes. No, he's more important.
Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke. Don't beat me up.
Yeah. So Mo is a valued client. I'll do anything that any client asks me to. Anything.
I don't think he asked you.
I know.
Just standing in the lobby without a couch.
I'll give him a couch Monday. We had some problems with the couch.
I've heard.
We're having some problems, Mo. We're having some problems.
The wizard brought it to the beach, so now it's closer.
Oh no! Yeah, but it's got sand all over it.
Oh my God.
It's bad.
How you doing, Mo?
Doing well. How you guys?
Good. So, Mo, we got a bunch of questions
And we're
from
doing
listeners.
and we're
but-
doing some bad things, right? Don't you want to ask him your questions
Well,
about the Airbnb? Is we took on more than we should have.
Now, I will tell
Sounds
you,
about
Mo was pivotal with this whole AirTND because I had to ask Mo a bunch of questions because I didn't know.
It's called bothering Mo. Why do you bother Mo?
I bother
Why?
him good, real good.
Why?
Endless text messages, like late. I shouldn't be texting
Oh,
people.
my
like,
God.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Used to it.
So, so basically, we rushed to get this thing done. Okay,
Well, that's what we were telling you. You said no. He said no.
And Daniel was warning me not to do it.
I was like, please, just take your time. We're rushing. And he's like, we're not rushing. And then we get in here, and you're like, we rushed it.
So I was stressed out beyond belief. We're trying
And
to.
he's stressing us out beyond
Yeah,
belief.
yeah.
He took a 3-flusher this morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sam's over there. We're trying to hang pictures and stage everything, and then
It was hard for you to be alone in a news area with a woman, right?
No, why would you say that?
Because you're never alone with Sam. I feel like it would be awkward for you to be in there.
No. I mean, we're just in there silently working.
That's weird.
We're in there making beds together.
That's
there
weird.
was a bad-
That's weird.
Yeah. And I did think, I was like, what if she seduces me? Everybody thinks that, right?
It's the best,
Everybody
it's the best
thinks
thing
that.
he could have said with our attorney in the room. I mean, your attorney in the room.
Yeah, blame me.
Yeah.
I'm seducing him.
Well, that's what every guy thinks.
I'm
They're like,
distancing
what happens?
myself. Like, if I put my hands up there in this segment, like, I'm free to go, right?
Anyway, so we're rushing to get things done, and
Don't say we're Russian. We're American.
and then
we're
Sam's
not
like,
Russian.
you don't have the right frames here. They don't fit. I'm like, oh, we'll make them fit. And she's like, you want to look Bobo? And I'm like, that's
This
fine.
man wanted me to do something. I was like, I will not do that.
Oh, whoa! What are we talking about here?
And then the back of every frame had like wire taped to it with like instructions
With all
about
the little things. It has
So that you can hang them correctly.
It's got a drywall plug. It's got the wire.
He was throwing them all in the trash.
Oh, yeah! Throw them in the trash. Throw them in the trash.
because I
I
was
was
like,
like, we don't need these?
Why?
No, don't need them.
It's like it's not. I'm like
Did
weighing
you see
it.
the pile of them? Okay, on the first bed that I had the contact strips on, did
Yeah.
you see the pile
Yeah,
of
it's
all
on the pile. I threw
of
them
wires?
away. Because I was like, we don't need these. This is being like it's like dive tables. Like this is for earthquake country or something. Like we don't need.
Earthquake country.
I'm like, we're not using the command strips. I'm using the little gold,
it's like the little, it's like a
hooks,
little
yeah.
brass
Yeah,
brad that you put in a legal document.
yeah, and then I hammer it in there, and I'm like, this thing is like, and then I'm weighing.
You're
like,
not supposed to use a nail on plaster walls.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but I'm
So
using
use a
two. Two nails is good enough.
Two nails is good as one
but
screw.
then you have to have them literally precise, or it's gonna hang crooked.
I have a laser level. That's the one thing.
You
that,
don't have a laser
It was at that
level.
Sam
Oh
saw
my
it, and
God.
my batteries ran out.
You saw it.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did run out. And so when I stayed there, he wanted me to hang a couple things, which I could not use this laser level. And
Yeah.
when we opened the back to see what kind of batteries it used, there was
Corroded.
aluminum foil stuffed between
Yeah,
three
for the-
batteries.
for the contact.
Well, I didn't know. I got the batteries. They weren't the right size, so I put the foil in there.
No.
And it works. But then
No,
I
it
left.
doesn't.
He's using triple A's and a double A. Put the foil in.
No,
That
it's like
is cheap.
it was like the little watch batteries, the little
Yeah,
circular
yeah.
ones.
Oh my God.
Then
man.
I left
Then
the
my
laser.
husband threw it across the room.
Get this garbage out of here.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, Mo.
so I don't know why anybody trusted me.
We didn't.
We didn't. You just started
You
doing
kept yelling
it.
at us.
I kept saying, I'll go
right.
over and hang the pictures. I just got to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
an afternoon I can get over there. And then you go,
Yeah.
I don't want you divide and conquer. You do your stuff.
Yeah. So then,
I think you did it because you didn't want us to think that you're completely stupid, and I think that you did take on. You wanted to prove to us that you're not stupid by hanging
yeah.
these pictures, but in hanging the pictures, you proved that you were stupid.
that's my life. Anyway, so we're hanging all the pictures. Now, most of them are, if they fall, they'll fall like on the shelf that we have or like in the living room.
We're already anticipating them falling off the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
The beauty of our falling pictures is that when they do fall, like, why is that even a thing?
But we decided, by we, it was me, basically, that we needed one of the most infamous pictures of Goodbye Razzles, one of our original art and
Yeah,
T-shirts.
OG art. Yeah.
which is Ernest Hemingway shooting his blunderbuss into his paralyzed cat's face.
Yeah, killing his paralyzed cat.
And then he's saying in a thought bubble, "Goodbye, Razzles."
Yeah,
it's
he's
a long
sad.
story.
There's one tear.
But he's blowing. I mean, it's a tiny
And what better
paralyzed cat.
picture to hang above your bed in the master bedroom?
It's the Goodbye Razzles room, and that's the room with the queen bed. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm gonna hang this above the headboard, right? Now, when I was hanging it, first
were you standing on the bed in your sandals?
no, I took my sandals off, but then my feet were dirtier than my sandals. So,
oh man,
I put our curtains down first so I can stand on those because Crystal was steam cleaning them later. Anyway. When I was standing there hanging it, I weighed it with my hands and I was like, this is fine. And these nails, they're like rated for like 12 pounds a piece. And I'm like, well, this thing is
12 plus 12 is 24.
And I'm like, this frame weighs like 5 pounds or whatever. But I didn't use the wire. I just hung it on the actual frame,
So
but I
it's
bent out the
literally
tongues.
just teetering on a nail.
Well, I bent the
Teetering
tongues.
on a nail. Oh, wow.
And then I used my fingers. I was
You
like,
bent the nail down as the thing that holds it to the frame?
well, because I figured that would get it under there
Was
more.
the nail balanced on the top of the actual nail? Was the frame on the nail?
I did a couple pound tests where I was like, dung, 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 and then I was like, it's on there. It's fine. Yeah. And then because we were rushing it, I was like, on the next one. We don't have time.
It's
I
like
was
trading spaces. You're like, hands up, done.
I did feel like we were on like a game show.
Yeah. Because we,
It's like, how many can we get done?
Well, now you know that.
Then Crystal's texting me. I'm like, I'm already on my way home.
This is where
Let the shoes.
And this is where it does get real. It's like, it's exactly the same feeling that we had when we were building out this place, because like he gets antsy and he wants to get it moving, and if you can't do it, or if you don't have the materials to do it like properly, he would rather, I think,
skirt the system and just get it done.
Just do something because I know how he'll battle it. And you'll know this too, Sam, and I bet you Mo knows too. He'll say, well, how much better is doing it the right way over doing it the wrong way? And then I'll say, like, well, there's really no way of knowing until this picture careens off the wall, breaks, but we'll do it that way. Then it'll break. Then we'll have to do it the right way. But then this time we have damage that's been done to the picture because we did it the wrong way the first time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because my wife, who is the host of our Air T&D, got a text from our second guest.
All right. Two guests.
I'll give her a shout out, Chadlin, and she is staying there with her wife or girlfriend. Her wife, right?
Fiance. They just got engaged. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And very nice and very complimentary of the property and super nice. And she got a text in the next morning saying that around 1 a.m. the Goodbye Razzles, and it's a giant, it's like
It's big.
32
It's as tall
by
as I am.
24 came crashing down off the wall.
Oh my God.
And the only reason it didn't land on both their faces is because Sam told me to move the bed back a little bit because because it's adjustable, whatever.
Yeah.
It was unplugging the plug in the back when you adjusted it and lifted the
the sex bed.
And so I did a little and scooted it out. It's a tiny
You
fraction.
gave it a little skosh.
I saved their lives. I'm a
And
hero.
That fraction was the reason that the entire glass frame didn't crash on their sleeping heads. And
did it wake them up and scare the crap
Oh,
out of them?
it crashed down and shattered,
nice.
but in between the headboard and the actual bed in the middle of the night.
Great.
Scaring the ass out of both.
Yeah, that's good.
Which then I said, I'll send you a T-shirt. I apologize.
A t-shirt.
I was like, don't write this in the review.
Send them a helmet. Goddamn.
It was like just don't mention that when you write the review. And she was
This is
very
a soft
nice.
rollout. I mean, come on.
And then I said, I'll
I'll
tell.
Venmo you an extra $10.
And I said I was gonna tell Mo the story, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'm not the Sue type."
Yeah, we've had some Sue types. We've had some.
And then I'm like, "You would be if this crashed on your head."
Because Sam is single-handedly have saved T&D Media.
Yeah. Good job, Sam.
So Mo, if if this did crash on their faces while they were sleeping, would we have a problem?
Crazy.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah. And then
That's her name, Sue Crazy.
Easy to prove that I didn't follow directions and I was negligent. All the stuff that you need to sue me, right?
I mean, you just admitted to all of it.
But what if I
the evidence was there.
Now,
Easily found.
What if I do what I used to do as a producer? Now I'm a host. Graduate a little bit. Back in my producing days, multiple shows I worked for on Real Radio, when things would happen and it would be litigious, I would destroy the tapes.
So if I send Daniel over there to destroy the Goodbye Razzles,
and I got to delete this show.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I'm not going to go over there. I'm just going to delete it.
Hopefully nobody on Twitch clipped it.
That's fine. They're cool. I said be cool.
Everybody be cool.
Yeah.
Do we have
stand by, stand down?
Should we do what I originally said we should have done? You said no to this, but I said we should hire the same guy that screws all the pictures of Jimmy Johnson to the walls at Wing House. Get that guy in there to use his Makita and a bunch of wood screws and take every picture of Rusty Wallace, of Dale Earnhardt, and just drill him into the wall so nothing can fall, no problems.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's weird. You wasted a frame. Work done. No one even knows who that is. Anyway, how you doing, Mo?
Good.
All right.
You already asked him.
I gotta ask him again.
We're back at the beginning.
We started over. Damn it. We got to get through that whole thing.
Yeah, that's how if we do cut it out, it doesn't we cut nothing out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway, what questions do we have?
All right, so we have this scenario. It says, my wife and mother-in-law's name is on the property deed for our house. My mother-in-law unfortunately died of COVID, leaving my wife as the sole owner. The house has solar panels on it in my mother-in-law's name. My wife didn't sign any of the paperwork, only my mother-in-law. My wife wants to keep the panels, but not at the cost my mother-in-law paid. My wife wants to renegotiate the price. The panel company basically told my wife they would put a lien on the house if the payments aren't made per the contract my mother-in-law signed. So does the solar panel company need both owners to sign before they install? Can they put a lien on the house if not paid if both owners did not agree? Can my wife haggle down the cost of the panels?
I would like to blanket this entire segment by saying solar is legit and awesome.
But yeah, we're just saying that because we're about to have big solar deal.
We're big into solar.
Put it on the air TV.
Hey, solar, the future's bright. Gotta wear shades.
Since they did the work on the property, typically they can just lien the property. And the solar panels are on there. You have to look at the contract to see if there's any way out of it, but it's probably going to be very difficult since they actually did the work. The work's been completed. Solar panels are on there. And since, they improve the property, quote unquote, they can lien the property if they wanted to.
That's a bummer.
So that is a bummer.
And then once they lien it, then they can start getting attorney's fees and all sorts of crazy stuff too. So you want to be careful with that.
It makes sense, Mo, because like on paper, this person's like, well, that's not fair. Like this is that's something a contract that my mom signed with her.
Right.
But if you think about it, like no solar company is going to install super expensive solar panels that they finance that cost them $30,000, and if the owner passes away, unfortunately, they're out $30,000 worth of solar.
Right.
So obviously they're going to write in the contract that they have some sort of legal lien on the house to anybody who buys it. That's why, like, when you install solar panels, when you sell your house, the buyer has to agree to
them.
take on all the
it can get sticky.
The contracts that you signed, right?
Yep. Yeah, or it has to be paid off, basically.
Yeah. And so, just read all the fine print. Anytime you do, I say that.
She didn't sign it, though. So she didn't read it because she didn't sign it.
I can't even see fine print.
That's a fact.
Even with my glasses, I can't even read it.
Natural dad joke. Fine print. I can't even see. It's like perfect.
Like I would
perfect
need
legal defense.
a magnifying glass, and it's too hard.
Oh, you're becoming the guy with the magnifying glass. There was a guy we went out when I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. Such good people watching. There was a guy that pulled out a magnifying glass that had an LED light on it for the menu.
Yes.
For the menu, and instead of the normal reaction, I'd be like, "Oh," but I was like, "That's odd." Like it was humongous. Like he looked like a detective. Like he had it out.
Inspector Gadget over there.
Yeah, and he had it on the menu, man. It was awesome.
I love to, when we go out to dinner, I get my cell phone light and do it on the menu just to embarrass my wife like I'm some old guy.
Yeah, that is a fun Mo. That is
a dad joke.
That's a good one.
Trolling your wife.
If you are listening to this and you're not an old dad, but you really want to make your wife mad, throw that light on that menu every time. It makes them mad.
I like taking a picture of the menu and then
Pinch
zoom
and
in.
Squinting it.
That's good too.
Yeah. That's digital glasses.
Yeah.
All right.
That's digital glasses, all right? Hey, looks good on you, though. You become Rodney Dangerfield every day a little bit more. And he hates Rodney Dangerfield. He hates him. And he's like, that right there, that's digital glasses. You know what I'm saying?
Bada bing, bada
No
boom.
respect.
Next question. Is there anything you can do legally to take the driver's license or vehicle away from an elderly family member who should not be driving?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I mean,
Right.
maybe there's like a DMV type thing.
My
but-
pa Bob, he was still driving at the age of 96. And it was a very, very bad idea. And I've told the story on the show before, and it's kind of funny. At the time, it was absolutely not funny. I got in the car with him to go from the nursing home back to his house in a little subdivision called Chatmoss that was right up the road, right?
Yeah,
he
yeah.
stayed within his own community to go to the assisted living place. He still had his car. He was living independently, but he still needed help. He still had his driver's license legally. When we got in the car, he took a wrong turn on a one-way road, and it was me in the passenger seat. And this is a true story. It's me in the passenger seat in a 1961 Falcon, or 63 Falcon. He had a car called Lucille, and I'm in the passenger seat with like an all metal dash, no seatbelt. He's driving, and my parents are in their Ford Explorer behind us because, of course, it's fun for your grandson to ride with your granddad, right?
Yeah.
My mom was literally pooping bricks the entire time. Never been more scared. And when we got to like the house, they had some discussion, right, about like we got to stop this. We can't let Bob drive by himself anymore. And there was nothing they could do.
Really?
Like they looked into it, and and at that time.
legally,
Now again, this is in the 90s or
Yeah.
early 2000s, but at that time there was nothing they could do. And trust me, he told them to their faces there was nothing they could do. It became sort of a like you're taking
Point of
some of my
contention.
freedom away, you
Well-
know, and it became an argument.
We lucked out with my pop-up because I did have the neighbors and some family friends
He
like
got
tell
the, what, 90?
they were 90
90,
but they were telling but he hurt himself a couple times, so it wasn't as mobile, and they were telling me like, oh, you should tell Pop like you know he's not allowed to drive anymore. I'm like, I'm not telling him that. Like you punch my face like no, I'm never. Are
They
you
get
joking? Like I'm never gonna tell
They
him that.
get mad.
And he would drive it around every time he drove. Like I drove in the car with him to the old coffee cup, and then scared out of my mind. And then so finally, it just so happened that it was time to renew his driver's license. But because of his age, the DMV makes you go in and take a test to renew it, right?
Yeah.
And then when they sent him the letter, he was mad.
Yeah,
He
they
was-
get so mad.
He was bitching at me. He's like, they want me to come in and redo the test. I can't even see the goddamn test.
Well,
They don't see it like that.
Yeah, so he didn't do it because he couldn't see the test, and I never told him like, well, you shouldn't be driving either.
Yeah.
That's the point. But I didn't say anything. I was like, this stupid. I was like, oh, Bob, we both screamed Obama together.
Yeah.
And then
It's a bonding moment.
and then he couldn't drive because he couldn't take the test, and then but he always followed the letter of the law, so he didn't just drive around with no license.
Right.
So that saved me. But he was gonna drive around until he killed someone, or crashed into someone, or he wasn't stopping. So I imagine maybe at a certain age, I think the DMV makes you retake the test.
It's probably the more frequent review process that is once you hit a certain age or something like that. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure.
But it's a problem that I hear a lot from people. Like
I think, unless they hurt somebody else, I just don't think that they're legally allowed to, right? I mean,
it's still America.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're goddamn right.
it's hard to limit someone's rights, right?
Well, I mean, driving's not a right; it's a privilege. Is
Yeah.
what the statute actually says.
but if you're not doing anything wrong, technically, I
right,
guess.
once you're given that privilege, it's harder to take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one.
Who is responsible for maintaining the land under power lines? We have trees directly under the lines, but it is just past our fence line. Is the power company responsible for cutting the trees, reaching the lines? And if so, should I go about requesting they do it?
Usually the power company does it because it's their line. So usually you can call them and they'll come out and trim them. But it does depend where the tree is, how close it is to it. But usually the power company has an easement on your property, but they do keep the trees back from the power lines for safety purposes.
Yeah, I think my old neighbor did this. I think if you just call them and let them know that it's messing with your power lines, I think they'll come take care of it.
Yeah, I had a tree that I got a quote to take it down. And trees are expensive to take down.
Yes, they are.
Mo, they're terrible.
So then I called the power company. I was like, "This tree is kind of close to your guys' power lines. You want to come take it down?" And they came out. And they're like, "No, sir, we're not taking it."
No,
really?
I was worth a try.
Yeah, I did that in my old
just
house.
try it. See what happens.
I called them out, and they took one, but they're like, "We'll take this one because you are correct, but this one we can't."
Yeah.
I'm not joking. It's the number one requested thing that people ask for on the BDM
Yeah,
page is like
'cause
a
it's so
tree service.
expensive.
Like no one knows a good tree service. I know we had one, and they did a good job at my house. It was the one that Ross used that we had
With a J, didn't it?
Yeah, those guys were really good.
But the problem is, I remember we talked to the guy from Moonshiners about owning a tree
I think
service.
he said München, which is the German pronunciation for Munich, Germany. Is München.
And
yeah,
it's nearly impossible to run a successful tree service because of the insurance and finding the people, employees to do it.
It's either you're either going to get top notch, everybody in uniform like the military, or you're going to get like what I use, which is grandma's in the. This is true. Grandma's in the passenger seat.
Truck.
She doesn't say anything. The Mexican guy driving, he's like no shoes, and he's like, I want 24-pack. And I give him a 24-pack, and he runs up the tree, and he cuts everything down, and then we never speak of it again. He drives away. I'm sure he's dead.
Yeah, because he's up there, and there's like, oh man, this guy's gonna fall. He's got ropes.
It was
like,
two guys and an old lady in the truck, and they're like, "That's his mama. She don't say nothing." And she's just sitting in there. And
if someone figured it out, like someone will figure out a robot to do it or something, right? Like because it seems like a super lucrative business if you could figure it out.
I'm not gonna
everybody
trust
needs
it.
it. I need one right now.
Do you?
And it's impossible to find. Like
I thought you weren't allowed to cut your trees.
No, it's I want to cut them on my neighbor's yard because the sun is blocking the sun for the pool, and but I look up there, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be $1,100 or whatever it is, like $1,100, and I'm like, just for some more sun.
You would be. I think you're going low because like. I don't think I've ever paid less than $2,000 for anything ever done tree-wise. It's never, it's
Just
never
for them to show
$500.
up.
It's never $800. It's usually like a couple $1,000.
Yeah. Well, I said $1,100. That's with the hookup. Some friend
Oh,
of a
you're
friend.
gonna roll it in.
BDM.
Roll it
BDM
in.
knows this guy, his cousin. He'll do it anyway.
How long do I have to sue somebody for my deductible after an accident?
Usually 4 years.
Oh, yeah. That's
Plenty of time.
time.
I'll wait a little bit.
I want this to be a surprise.
We got this one from EJ. Should I bring a lawyer with me to a timeshare sales presentation?
Why is he going to a time? Why do you make only bad decisions?
Just don't go to the timeshare presentation.
That's coming from a lawyer. Just don't do it.
Thank you, Mo. He
Bring
won't
a
listen
lawyer.
to me, but he'll listen to a good-looking
EJ,
lawyer.
What the hell are you talking about? You think any lawyer that you could ever, anybody who is actually a lawyer that took the bar, nobody wants to go to a timeshare
I
presentation.
think Hunchuck's actually sat through one.
You can save time by the lawyer just saying, don't do it.
Right.
From the beginning.
Well, which is what Mo's advice was. Yeah.
Andrea's in the chat room, and she's laughing about those guys that cut our trees with no shoes on. Man, if we could find them right now, I'd give them to you.
Easier to climb a tree without shoes.
These guys were so good and so fast.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they would do all of my trees for $500 cash. Had to be cash and a 24-pack of Coors Light.
I might know those people.
but they have no insurance.
No,
and they fall on your
have no-
property.
and then I was told that later from smart people like Mo, who would be like, yeah, that was a really dangerous and bad idea. You did that, and I'm like, well,
because if they
glad
do,
it's over with.
if
Glad
they
it's over with.
do fall on Daniel's property,
Yeah, let's
they
talk
can
about
definitely
that.
sue his homeowner's insurance, right?
They can. And so I actually had one of those guys call me one time, and he's like,
Hey,
down
Mo,
the street.
it's me.
I was helping this guy. I think the guy was kind of homeless or something. The guy who was cutting the tree.
Oh, you know my guys.
Yeah, you guys. And then he tried to sue the homeowner, and the homeowner just wouldn't respond.
Oh, that's what you do?
Yeah, just don't answer the door.
They're calling again. Does that work?
No, it does not work.
Oh, damn it. So, but they can definitely sue
they
them,
can
right?
definitely they can sue him.
Yeah. And so that's what you have to worry about. And well, again, though, it's not my money. Sue all you want. That's why I got insurance. But then you can never get insurance.
Then you're paying through the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Last question, not quite a legal question, just kind of a personal question for Mo. What surprised you most about the job when you became a lawyer?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, how much of assholes other attorneys are?
That surprised you?
See, I going to law school, they're like, oh yeah, it's this very collegial, prestigious profession.
Right.
And then you talk to the other person, they're like in your pajamas. They're in their pajamas, like screaming at you. I talked to one lawyer one time, and she goes, we were on the phone. She goes, Yeah, I'm just walking around my house naked looking for my bathrobe. I go, what the hell are you doing? I mean,
Why would you tell me that?
This is a professional conversation. We're talking about a case here. What are you talking about?
No, I think at that point that's where I go, what do you look like?
I knew what you looked like.
He's like, I already knew.
Yeah. I think that's everybody's like that, right, Mo? It's like all humanity because I thought
crazy.
I thought
You guys don't take phone calls naked?
I just thought that like if you are a lawyer, a doctor, like
You're a respectable human
yeah,
being.
like some sort of businessman, a owner, like Jerry Jones eating a McDonald's egg McMuffin with salt on it. It is like, everybody is just
Everybody's crazy.
It's crazy and the same person. It's like it doesn't matter what position you're in. It's like you're just a human being, and you walk outside naked and you tell people your flaws.
Even my biggest boss in radio, at one point I was in the bathroom and I looked down and to my left and I saw his feet in the stall and I saw how much psoriasis was on those feet, and I was like, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. Like, you know what I mean? I saw him and I'm like, you know what?
I remember the story when you and Jeff Howell were going to the bathroom, and you walked to the bathroom and started screaming about how much of stuff.
Me and Jeff Howell were in the bathroom, and we walked in. It was one of those bathroom trips where the third floor, notoriously at iHeart, the air would go on, the air would go off. The toilets were always backed up, or like something terrible was going on. One time, this guy flushed just a number one. It started like coming and attacking me. The water. I was sitting doing a number two, and the water was coming up and chased me out of the urinal. Like he saw me run out with no underwear on, like help. So notoriously bad. So Jeff and I walk in there, and it just hits us like like a punch in the face. Like, oh God! So Jeff, Jeff is like, oh, and it's like all echoing. So Jeff's like, oh God, and I'm like, oh God, it smells, oh God, it's terrible.
Oh God, Daniel, it smells so bad. Oh.
So we're doing that in the bathroom, and it's echoing around. Well, it's our biggest boss in there. Campmeyer's in there, and he's like,
Oh, like your shit doesn't stink!
and he yells it like that, like real loud, like he yelled it really loud, and then we were like frozen. We're like, oh God, we like gotta just back out.
That's why executives have their own bathroom,
Yes.
right? In their room, and they don't want to be doing that with their employees.
Yes.
Like you should have your own bathroom
because
in
it
your
is
office.
a power thing. It's we were, without even knowing it, we were doing exactly what
You're knocking them down a peg.
Yeah, we were pulling him down the ladder.
All the same level when you're
You need to have your own bathroom as an executive in your
we
office.
should have our own bathroom.
I know. Yeah, I know.
He had an idea where that unit's still available. We wanted to have this. There's a unit above us right over here that we wanted to have to be like, like the Tom and Dan owner's suite, where it's a cafe for just us. No Sam, no Merchman, no Tony. It's just a nice place where we can go and get away from all these people. Are always like, Sam's always Daniel. Tony's Daniel. It's like, God damn it. I just need to hear my own thoughts.
Yeah, we're in our office.
Yeah, I need to be in there counting the money.
And it's got it's the exact same layout as this.
Two bedrooms.
You could have two.
Have my own office. You have your own office. Then we have a
lobby and a
cafe,
secretary.
Secretary
In there.
That way, when Sam comes in, she's like, "I need to speak to Dan. He's not in his office. I see him in there.
I can see him through the glass door.
He's little, and I can see him in there."
Yeah. Then we have it our executive bathroom that we don't get shamed every time we stink it up.
No.
I mean, I want this too. This is
well, you have your own here.
You can do it
and
for
there's
semantics.
really no other employees.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want you guys to have your own bathroom as well.
Oh, so you're gonna have this one. Well, occasionally I'll come back and deuce in this one just to keep you. I want to knock you down.
Hold on, you would have a better. You'd be in here by yourself, and me and Daniel will be yelling at each other.
Yeah, that's what I
want. You can put a fire pole in, just slide right into the studio.
So, is it the last question?
Yep, that was the last question.
So Mo, what's the number one mistake people make when they get into an accident and they call you, and then you're like, "Oh, you should have done this," and they didn't think about it at the time?
You should have hung your pictures up correctly.
They listened to Tom and Dan, and they took their advice.
Oh, God.
I love you guys.
Don't take our advice.
Is it just not getting enough evidence of what happened?
So here's the thing that I hear most often is people think they're kind of a tough guy. They're like, I don't need to go see a doctor. I don't need to deal with this. And they delay it. So they don't want to deal with the lawyers, which I get. They don't want to deal with the doctors, which I get. But then a month later, they're still in pain. Now they're like, oh, crap, I gotta do something about this because I'm going to be in pain forever. And now you're already behind the eight ball because your PIP benefits have expired, which is up to $10,000 for you to go see a doctor. There's a delay in treatment, which hurts your case. So, I mean, usually what I see is people call me and they're like, I don't really need a lawyer. I was just trying to get some advice. I don't really want to do anything, yada, yada. Then they wait like a month and they call me back. They're like, yeah, you were right. I should have gone to the doctor. I should have hired you then. Geico or the insurance company's offering me like a few $100s to go away. And I need to go see a doctor. I'm still in pain. This isn't getting any better.
So don't do yourself a disservice by trying to tough it out or like thinking to yourself like, well, I'm not, it's fine. Because I feel on myself doing that. Like, definitely when someone rear ends me, like going 100 miles an hour while they're looking at their phone and then it explodes my, spinal cord or the thing.
Oh my God.
That explodes it.
Horrifying.
But it just like compresses it, whatever. And then I'm like,
because you're stiff already.
And
Well, then you get pain pill crazy.
yeah, but the pain pills at first. But then when I run out, I'm like, I could go to some shadier doctors, and then I go to the compound pharmacist.
Yes.
And the certain part of town I know to go to,
Yes.
Deltona, and then they start giving it to me. But then when that finally runs out, then I call Mo, and I'm like, oh God! And then it's been 6 months. I'm on pain pills. I'm strung out.
You have 4 years though. You got plenty of time.
Living in Daytona. All right. Thank you for coming in, Mo.
I don't know why I did.
That was
You're welcome.
weird.
I don't know why. I don't know why either. But we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also, when you see Eric Merchman out at the food truck festival in Sanford or at all the Sanford events that Eric's out at.
Yeah, he's out there with our tent.
Yeah, you'll see Just Call Mo banner, and he's got some Just Call Mo merchandise to give away as well.
Yeah, I snagged some chapstick last week.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
I
make
haven't
some
seen
good
that yet.
stuff.
Yeah, you got good merch.
Yeah. We were gonna like Eric's like, you should make the suntan lotion that Mo makes, and then I was like, oh, too expensive.
I was like, this is expensive.
Yeah, anything around koozie costs?
Yeah. What do you have that's more in the 35 cents per?
Yeah, can we just get water in there or Sans lotion? It doesn't have to really work, right?
It's an old Santan lotion bottle. It's a Santan lotion bottle.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. I am the senior member of this program. I'm the old man. I'm the old man. I'm the old man of the group.
Yeah.
Used to be Butler. Now it's me. No, that was a shot. That was a shot. And he didn't deserve that. But I used to give him the business about his age because he and me and Butler, were the old guys. Now he's gone. Now I am the old guy.
Well, I can't wait till Sam turns 40 now because
I wouldn't be winging that wish around here if you
It's
know
getting
what's
close.
good for you.
It's not that long.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be saying that
And
because
then
that's
once you pass that
that's how you get a
threshold-
squirt of pee-pee in your coffee. Yeah, you keep saying it. I can't wait till Sam gets old. Yeah, keep saying that. That'll work out great for you.
Surprisingly, that it hasn't happened that often on camera, except for that one 90s
That was a
video.
bad one. That one was horrible.
Yeah. You'd think there'd be a lot more of that going on, but there
was a run in the 90s of,
lot more cameras,
of
too.
grandmas peeing in coffee pots. And then also, one of my dad's favorite things was she went and she put her bare rectum on the copy machine. She put a bare butt on the copy machine and copied her withers. That's weird, right? It's weird that dudes
used to be a thing.
Yeah, my dad, he's dead, I can say this. My dad, I believe, got excited if he saw a Xerox of my mom's bottom. I think he was into that.
Come on.
Okay, so back to my point. I am the senior member of this program, and in our chat room, we're live on Twitch right now. I forget to say it, again, because I'm the senior member of the program. I forget to say things. I'm old. And I forget to promote that we are live on Twitch right now. One of our Twitch chat members, Tracy, says, I'm finishing off a bag of Andy Cap hot fries. And that, I knew exactly what she was talking about, the treat, everything about it. I've had this particular treat before. I think both you and Sam have never had hot fries. And I'll double down and say that neither of you have had hot fries and neither of you know who Andy Cap is.
First, I guarantee you Sam has had hot fries. She's grew up in Taft. It's a hot fry capital of the world.
I don't think it is. I don't think
it's somewhere close. It's on the list. I've had hot fries. Everybody has.
You've never had hot fries.
Now, I don't know what the hell
Thank
Andy
you. If
Cap-
you don't know what they are, then you've never had them.
No, but I've had hot fries at a gas station. I'm saying like they're labeled hot fries. I mean, I guess it's like potato
they're not
chips.
labeled hot fries. They are labeled Andy Cap's hot fries.
There's also different brands.
No.
You've probably had Tom's hot fries.
There's
right?
only one brand of hot fries, and it's Andy Cap's. Everything else is just an imitation.
Right, yeah, it's an imitation, but they called them hot fries. Yes.
Is Mr. Cap the inventor of hot fries?
No, this is where it gets weird. Andy Cap. Now, I am not looking this up. I'm just purely going on my dumb old man knowledge. Andy Cap, at 45. Again, remember I said that I'm not of the age that I should know who Andy Cap is. Actually, I said that off the air. But I am not of the age that I should know who Andy Cap is. But for whatever reason, my dumb little miniature brain picks up dumb little things, and I know I have nothing but useless knowledge. Andy Cap is a cartoon character, is a comic strip. Not a comic, but the old school Sunday funny pages. Andy Cap, he looked like a card shark he had like the Applejack hat, and he was kind of like a down on his luck, like, hey, I'm Andy Cap, like that kind of a guy.
Was he a down on his luck grifter?
Kind of like a down on his luck
Wander?
little character guy. I think he was married. I think he had like a family. But it was the comic strip, the traditional dumb old man comic strip. Andy Cap's getting into his old hijinks again in the funny pages. And then that was on Hot Fries. For some reason, they brokered a deal, the Hot Fries people and Andy Cap, and they came together. And then it was Andy Cap's Hot Fries, and they've always been Andy Cap's Hot Fries to me, and that is the only reason that I, as a 45-year-old man, know who this is an old comic strip. Old-ass comic strip.
Like how old?
I don't know, way before I was born.
1957.
Yeah, before
it started in newspapers.
Racist old.
British comic strip as well.
Yeah, see, I was born in 76, so there's no way I should know about Andy Cap. But I do.
So Andy is a working class figure who never actually works.
Blue collar.
Living in Hartlepool, a harbour town in County Durham in northeast England. The title of the strip is a pun on the local pronunciation of handicap, and the surname Cap signifies how Andy's cap always covers his eyes, along with metaphorically his vision in life. Petition to start naming him Vandicap.
Oh, Vandicap. Vandicap hot fries. Vandicap's hot thighs.
So, let's talk about the hot fry for a second. What is it?
It's
a potato snack, corn and potato snack.
Yeah, it's a corn and potato stick.
Looks like a French fry.
That looks like a French fry that they roll in spicy dust.
Yes.
But they
have different flavors too. They got ranch fries, cheddar fries, barbecue fries.
No.
Those are all Andy Caps.
No, but it's the original. I'm saying before
it's a corn puff.
Yeah, it was
corn and potato.
But before there was ranch and cheddar and then low sodium, there was just hot fry.
Yeah.
High sodium.
Yeah, it's
all
spicy, salty.
Yeah. I feel like the hot fry is something that has to be eaten by itself and not with anything else.
Yeah, you don't need a sandwich and hot fries.
Yeah.
This guy knows.
Yeah.
It's a standalone snack.
You're right. You're absolutely
it doesn't go with Public Sub or whatever else. Like
it does not.
Yeah. You're not eating bologna and cheese and then some hot fries. It's
hot
gotta
fries,
be by itself.
You eat hot fries with like a beverage as a embarrassing snack.
And then when you eat the hot fries, I feel like when you munch them up in your mouth, it turns into just the
corn mush.
Like the corn mush.
With spicy dust in there.
And then when you swallow it, you're like, man, this whole bag is probably just a mouthful of corn mush.
3 mouthfuls of mush.
Yeah, like it's not that much.
You're eating a lot of air.
Yeah, there's not that much substance to hot fries.
Yeah.
Also, it feels like you're eating poison.
It does. Your body reacts to it. Like after about maybe 6 to 7 hot fries, your body's like rejecting it, like a bad heart transplant.
It's like in your belly and it's doing something bad in there.
But anyway, there's your little bit of knowledge. Like there was a time when I was trying to think of another character that came from the comic strips that was attached to a product, right? So you want to go Chester Cheetah, but no. He was created for the company, right?
Yeah. He's a mascot for...
So how did Andy Cap and the people from whatever this company is that produces hot fries, how did they come together for him to become... Like, is he the only Sunday morning funny pages character who is sponsored?
Follow my logic here, right? So in England, they got a lot of
handicaps,
government entertainment, like the news, right?
BBC One, BBC Two,
Yeah.
BBC Three. I learned that from Austin Powers.
Like that's the government coming out with the news and not owned by a giant conglomerate or whatever media company. So I wonder if their newspapers are the same thing. They're owned by the government, and therefore, like even the cartoons in the newspaper are like some sort of public domain because it's the government putting it out, and it's not a for-profit company, and therefore it's like open use because it's a government. I have no idea because
That's pretty solid.
if it's owned by a conglomerate, they're going to own the rights to everything because
Right.
they're a for-profit corporation. But the government, they don't care about making money off of the stupid comic. It's just a government employee that
It's
that
like
they
if,
hired.
If
so
you and I came out with Uncle Sam's hot fries, it's not like the government's coming after us.
yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
Uncle Sam is fair use. I think anybody can use Uncle Sam, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Like
I do not know.
That was the only
It's a
example I could
government-
think of
Yes,
that was
yeah.
government and quick.
I think we can come out with a marketing campaign and use Uncle Sam on our T-shirts and billboards and be like, Uncle Sam approves, summoned in, and no one can do anything. I think because it's government owned and they're just like, that's free use. It's our stupid, angry white man cartoon that's pointing at you. Go to war.
Every year, there's music and sound effects and certain movies that are released into the public domain.
Yeah, free use.
Yeah, so, and I listen to a podcast where they'll like go through it. They'll be like, all right, well, you're in luck. This year, the Russian Symphony playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from 1918 is now available. And you'll be like, oh, wow, all right. I got the Russian Philharmonic performing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from 1918. They do a lot of that. It's usually 1918, 1922, because it has to be almost 100 years.
Yeah.
For the copyright or whatever you want to, I'm butchering that, but whatever guide that they have placed upon that is only relinquished after like 100 years or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there is a ultimate time frame where, and then I don't think you can. Can you renew it or whatever it is?
No, I don't
like,
believe you can.
It's fair use after a certain
Unless it
amount of time.
were like privately owned or so, you would have had to have already made those choices, I believe. What were we gonna? There was something else we were gonna talk about before we got derailed by hot
the
fries.
golf thing.
Oh,
Okay,
speaking of
yeah.
hot fries, let's switch to hot guys. Tom Brady's in the news.
Well, it is odd that Andy Capp was a British comic strip, but Andy Capp's Hot Fries is an American product.
I want to know how they linked up with Andy Capp.
I'm trying to find it.
That's
It just
just
says
weird.
the product was created in 1971 by Goodmark Foods, which licensed the name and likeness from the comic strip character.
I mean, it's not
But it
like
doesn't say why.
It's not like Andy Capp was like, oh man, this guy's red hot. Andy Capp, people are reading him. They're Andy.
I mean,
was there anything in the comic about him liking fries or spicy things?
It's an old comic. I've never seen it. I mean, I know what it is.
It could be just as simple as like how we chose our logo for T&D Media, where me and Daniel were sitting around, and then
Well, it was a frog, and we said we don't want a frog.
and then we were like, let's put Caesar on there, and then it was just the owner of this company could have grown up like reading Andy Capp's
My Nana loved Andy
Yeah,
Capp.
yeah. And then he just used that because
You're right.
because it didn't matter what they used. They just need some sort of cartoon figure, and that was just as good as anything else.
Did he beat his wife? I think he did beat his wife.
There was some mention of him mistreating his wife,
Yeah.
Flo.
Yeah, I
Andy
think-
Cap?
Flo Cap, yeah.
Flo Cap.
Well,
I
it
know
was a
why she's
different
named
time.
Flo.
Like,
Always on her period. That's from the strip.
Like, how bad did he mistreat her?
He'd hit her over the head with a pan.
Oh man, you want some good watching?
Hold on a second. Who's telling me?
You want some good watching?
So I meant to talk about this on the BDM show. I had it written down, but we never went to it. So we've just figured out that Roku offers its own live TV.
Oh yes,
for free.
Yes.
And we pay like $70
And
a
you get
month
the
for Hulu
weirdo
live
channels.
Yeah, and then there is a bunch of free live TV you can watch.
I
right?
watch Loving Hut Supreme Master.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
watch like all the live Loving Hut documentaries.
So there's a Price is Right channel that just replays every episode of
But
Price
every
is Right.
decade, too.
Yes, and so we were watching. This is over the weekend. We're watching Price is Right from the 70s, right? Like young Bob Barker.
Yeah,
and,
horny.
So every contestant seemingly is a woman, right? Like a young, good-looking woman.
Women in the 70s on game shows were hot
Yeah,
as
yeah.
hell.
No
Big hair, tiny
Yeah.
little skirts,
Yeah.
little go-go boots.
And-
I'm feeling it.
This may be late 70s, early 80s or whatever.
Hey,
it is.
that's all right.
I can't really tell the difference between
Throw
like
some
late
leg warmers
80s and
in there.
70s. Yeah.
I'm on it.
And so, and every time they won the bid and they got to like do the individual challenge or the and then they ran up to Bob Barker.
Yeah.
He kept like some money in his jacket pocket that each contestant would run over, and it was always women, and then he'd get the money out of his pocket.
Reach in my zipper and pull out a 20.
Seriously. And then they'd kiss him
What
on
a
his cheek.
pervert. Yeah, he had to stop that. Richard Dawson used to do that on Family Feud.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys are perverts.
It seemed like they wanted to. I don't know. It's a part
Every
of the
morning I
tradition.
ask Sam to give me a kiss on my cheek when I walk in. I'm like, give me the kissy on the cheeky. And Sam's like, I do.
Get that 20 from my front pocket. And then he's making some comments. He's like, oh, look at, and then she's like, she backs up and does a twirl.
Touched my breast.
I'm just saying, it's hilarious. I don't know what about old sexual harassment.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Where do you and your husband make whooping?
I don't support. I mean, I'm glad things have
I
changed.
just laugh at it.
It's there. It's on TV. What am I supposed to do?
I'm glad things are changing, but we have to laugh at ourselves.
Am I supposed to be mad at it? I'm like, oh my, I'm more laughing about the absurdity of it. Not really that I think it's funny, but I'm like, look how absurd it is comparative to now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, Price is
I'm
Right
glad you
pedal.
backpedaled on that. I was not going to ride to hell with you on that
That
one.
was a nice pedal.
Hey, I'm laughing at the absurdity.
Okay.
Most of my when I laugh
I'm
at
laughing up the absurdity and wishing that things would go back there.
Make America great again.
like horrible things are absurd.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh my, like it's not even that horrible. It's just such a different time. Like I'm virtually certain Bob Barker, in his career, didn't do anything.
Be careful.
Extremely
Why do you- you're
inappropriate.
explaining too much.
I watched the Bob Barker documentary. He seemed like a nice man, but obviously the way he acted in the '70s not appropriate to now. But
Right.
that's a way. I'm sure he's like, well, this is the way you act, right?
We should start doing that with guests. Like, oh, you're leaving? Thank you so much for being on the show. Now, if you'll just reach in my short pocket, there's some money in there for you. Feel around in there. Get a good grab. Get a good grab in there. Just go in there. Go crazy.
Reach
Nope,
in
those
your
are my
pocket.
keys. Those are my keys. Nope. That's my True Leave vape pen. Little to your left. Yep. Can't tell you what that is. There, now you have it.
Every contestant in the pocket.
Yeah, that's crazy. You want to do some voicemails?
Yep.
I got a couple loaded. Unless you want to jump to the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. God, we jump around.
House of Pain.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Name the DJ from the band House of Pain without looking it up. I'm going to start testing you guys.
I feel like it's some sort of weed reference.
DJ Lethal.
She got it.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
Death reference.
I was thinking you would go Muggs. Sorry, that would be Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill is Muggs.
So they just announced that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are
Are you
going.
drunk? They
Rodgers.
That happens to me every once in a while. That's
It happens to Andrea too. She'll be singing, and she'll sing like a deaf person. And me and Maisie clown on her so hard. She'll be singing. She'll be like sing Maroon 5. She'll be dead love and thanking it all on me. See that goodbye. We never done before.
It's like when I'm talking and then trying to think of something at the same time, like it interrupts the stream. Anyway, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in a golf match.
It's young guys versus old guys.
And I like this kind of thing. Like it's interesting. It like for people that don't necessarily like watching golf, like myself, it's like kind of uninteresting to me. Like,
Is Brady going to play with Rodgers?
Yeah. It's
Brady
a
and-
versus.
Now, hold on a second. Rodgers has only been inoculated. Is Brady going
No,
to
it's
stand for...
over.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't even bring it up.
So, anyway, you could definitely gamble on this. And I started thinking about all like...
It's cool that you can gamble
Brady is
on it.
posting tweets of him on the golf course shirtless and like short dukes.
Yeah,
Nice.
Florida
He's
Tom.
trolling. He's
Yeah,
trolling.
He's Tampa Tom.
They're messing around with each other on Twitter. It's fun. Like
How's Brady look with his shirt off?
That's pretty good.
Mahomes is saying old Tom and old,
oh yeah, you got to say that. Old Aaron.
Yeah, and he is messing around with them, saying like, basically we could drive the ball farther than you or younger,
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I like it because there's nothing in it for either of them, like all of them, to throw this or make this entertaining.
No,
anyway.
they want to win.
They're gonna want to compete against each other.
Probably more than a Super Bowl because it's 1-on-1.
I don't know or care about this. So are they getting paid to do this? Is this a charity thing?
I think normally there's a charity component. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I don't think people would be very happy if they got a $40 million payday for playing one round of golf.
They all don't need to get paid for anything ever again in their lives.
Yeah, but they still do. They still get like sponsors, endorsements,
of course,
and stuff,
but
which they don't need.
But I'm saying for this kind of thing, it's better PR for them just to do it for charity and also to boost their popularity, because this kind of thing lets you show off your personality, right? And primarily in most of football, you either are on the field not showing your personality, or if you're in press conferences, they're pretty guarded on what you can say and what you could do, and you don't want any bad press, and you got a publicist. It's like you don't really let loose in any other, but on the golf course, you're messing around and talking S to each other.
In other golf news, John Daly and his son, it's being reported by our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive. They're reporting that John Daly's son and him signed an NIL deal with Hooters.
Oh.
That's awesome. Now I got somebody to root for. It's incredible. Orange, he'll wear the big, crazy orange Hooter pants, smoking a cigarette, all big beard, blades.
I think he stopped smoking.
Well,
it's
good.
Just vapes or whatever.
You need to stop smoking.
But when, I'm telling you, he does these TikTok, or I guess his publicist or someone's putting out these interviews he's doing on podcasts or whatever, talking about how unhealthy he is, and it's like, stop talking about it, because it's like
it'll turn a corner. It will.
He's like, I drink. I think he may have stopped drinking too. Like, they may be old.
Cold? That's not good.
I'm not sure.
He better probably go to a treatment program.
But when he described what he eats and drinks a day, like the fast food and the amount of I guess he quit, but he talked about how many cigarettes he smoked a day and how many drinks he had.
How many cigarettes was he?
It was an absurd amount, to the point where it's almost like there's no way that's true, because it's such a huge number that it's insane. You would have to realize this is killing you by doing this much. It's not like he was talking about eating 4,000 calories in a sitting and smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day and drinking 80 this absurd amount where it's almost sad to hear. You're like, oh my God.
You're trying to kill yourself. You don't love your life. You don't enjoy anything. Why are you doing that? You don't love your life. You don't love your family. You don't love yourself. You don't love golf. I'm serious. Look, man, I come from a place where I was 3 packs a day. And if you really psychoanalyze
3 packs is too much.
It is. But if you really look into why I was 3 packs a day, it was because I was using it as a something I didn't have, right? Something in my brain. Andrea asked me this the other day. She asked, "Why did you like smoking so much?" And I could. This is the only reason I could give her, because I tried to give her a real reason. I said it slowed my brain down and it gave me the opportunity to stand, and I would pace and smoke, and it would give me the opportunity to align my thoughts and think of lyrics, an idea, a character, a bit. It slowed me down. You could do that with anything. It could be sucking my thumb, running in place, jumping rope,
part of your process.
Yeah. So cigarettes to me became this thing where it's a coping mechanism for me. And then I kind of lost control of it. Right? When you're up 3 packs a day, you're overusing it. And then it becomes a detriment. It put me in the hospital. It's not good.
And then when you're describing such a amount of unhealthy things,
5 packs,
you're doing it. It was absurd to the point where it's don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's sad to hear.
That's 100 cigarettes a day.
Yeah, you're doing too much.
There's 20 in a pack, right?
You can't keep that up. For sure. I know that a lot of it's genetics and stuff like that.
He's only 55.
I know. You when you Google his age, you're like, oh wow, you're not old. Really.
He had to be exaggerating or playing into his character, because there's no way you could have done that for that long.
Oh, I definitely think he got some of the Andre the Giant factor, and what I mean by that is, it's so impressive.
Urban legend.
Yeah, the urban legend of John Daly, like weighing 600 pounds or whatever, eating and smoking cigarettes, and then but still playing a great round because he was blasted. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is folklore.
And he knows he's smart enough to play into it. Yeah.
You lean into it. We do with our own things.
I know.
I lean into my anxiety. You'll lean into your Bumble. Sam will spice up her paranoia a little bit. I mean, it's what you do.
Let's do a couple voicemail.
All right. This one is interesting because I think that this guy is Team Tom.
Hey guys, BDM Justin here. Just listening to your discussion in regards to being tired and sleep. Obviously sleep, huge benefit to have good sleep. But the way I look at it is, if anyone ever tells me that they're well rested or they're not tired, whatever the circumstances must be, I instantaneously assume they're just not productive. Right? I just instantly think that. In my mind, if I wake up in the morning and I am not tired, or if by 10 a.m. I'm not tired, I instantly look for a weapon because something's going to go wrong. I mean, there's just no way, as a grown adult, owning a home, owning a car, productive member of society, something's amiss if I'm not tired. That's just how I look at it.
I think you kind of look at it like that, right? Like
That's an interesting take.
If you had a day where your wife said, "I want you to do nothing today,"
Just relax.
I think
Tom can't relax.
It would drive you crazy because you would feel like you didn't benefit in any way. Like you didn't give that day your all. Like you're kind of like that guy on Instagram, the Liver King, where he's like, everything you do should be a challenge. Everything you do should earn. My wife and I watch this guy on. Do you watch Liver King?
I am the Liver King.
Do you watch Liver? No, he's all about eating liver. You're more about
you're
destroying your liver. Yeah, Liver King. He only eats liver, testicles, and brains.
Yeah.
Because it's the most nutrient foods you're supposed to put in your body. He's a meatitarian.
I used to think like this gentleman, where if someone had all their stuff together and got the right amount of sleep and seemingly were super organized and all this stuff, I would think, well, this can't be true because
everybody's so pessimistic.
There's no way, because you think to yourself, it's because we perceive ourselves differently than reality for the most part. Most people think they work harder than they do. Right?
No, I know. I think I work harder than I do.
Most people think they're busier than they actually are, right?
Most people think they're taller.
I don't like where this conversation's going.
No. Well, I'm saying I've done it too, because
that's also a perception, right?
Yes. It's hard.
Of what is considered hard work and not. A lot of people think that this is an easy job. We sit around and talk, right? We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not an easy job.
Well, no, it isn't. But
it is for me. It's pretty easy for me.
Well, I got another theory about hard work, the hardest work is physical and mental combined, and there are people that have those jobs where it's extremely hard physical and mental, and
know what you're saying.
But then there's jobs that are harder mental than jobs that are extremely physical.
Easiest job, first responder.
I would much rather just take wheelbarrows of dirt from one pile to the other all day long.
That's what you're doing right now, but it's wheelbarrows of words.
I would feel better at the end of the day than I do now, where I'm mentally exhausted and stressed out. And I know people that work hard labor, they're laughing at that, but in my mind, I feel like I would feel better at the end of the day if it was all just physical. You can
see what you accomplished. It is nice to look at. There is a very, very simple human characteristic that I have, that I am triggered in a positive way by looking at what I did. So if you gave me one of my favorite things to do as a kid, we had a backfield behind our house, and I would get on the riding lawnmower. If that was if Dad was using that, I would use the push lawnmower, and I would just slowly mow it perfectly, so you could see all the lines, because I knew I had to do it. I hated it.
Yeah.
But when I got done with it, there was a weirdness that I would look at it, and it was extremely pleasing, and it felt good to look at the lines and look at what I'd done. It felt awesome.
That sense of accomplishment, the visual accomplishment definitely works for being more fulfilled in your job. But anyway, back to this guy's question. There are people out there, because everybody's different, that can get a good night's sleep and fall asleep and sleep for 8 hours and not wake up I can't do it. I know no one in this room can do it. We all wake up all night long.
I want to call you every night at 2 a.m.
And And there are also people out there like Andrea, because I wouldn't believe it unless I knew a person for over decades, that does this, that are just better at being organized, and their mind works different. So then she's super efficient.
It can be a negative, though, because remember, if I interject even a micrometer, millimeter, whatever you want to call it, the tiniest little bit of what I do, which isn't what she does, right? Because she's hyper organized. It is oil and water, man. Like, I can throw her off so hard. So my point is, it can also be a hindrance.
Yeah, but regardless, I'm saying we're seeing like this. There's got to be some sort of, and maybe that is the give and take of it, or like, the flaw is, she can't handle anything going off schedule, but she's incredibly organized and scheduled, and she does it successfully. And you would see that from the outside and be like, it's impossible. Something like she doesn't have a job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, this is just, people are really good at it. And I think a lot of it is who you are, like how your brain works, and you're just,
everybody's different. Everything boils down to everybody's different. No one's exactly like you. Just because you can't, like, I can't sleep. I know I work hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not about if you work hard. Like,
No.
I just suffer from insomnia a lot.
Yeah. Well,
there are tips and tricks to kind of help you with it.
Well, he's saying the people that can sleep don't work hard, because how could they?
Well, no, he's not saying that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. He's saying that that's how he perceives it,
correct.
which is completely different than reality.
Yeah, and he said the N-word.
Yeah,
I heard that too.
A bunch. I cut it out, actually, because I didn't want him to look bad. I was trying to get a good night's sleep last night. I was staring at this Airbnb, and a picture fell on me in the middle of the night. I was like, and it scared me so bad. So bad. I got another voicemail ready to go if you want one.
Yeah, I do. But one more thing about sleep. Because everybody says how important it is, but
It's supposedly the most important, right?
Everybody I know doesn't get it, right?
Well, look at the world.
We're miserable.
Yeah, look at the
Everyone's negative and miserable and tired.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be that important, or a bunch of people be way more effed up than they are now, right? Because like everybody I know doesn't sleep, and everybody can get it together, right? Like
we're barely holding on, Tom.
Isn't everybody's barely holding on?
It's all going to implode soon.
I will tell you, man, though, to piggyback on your sleep conversation, getting that sleep number bed, still the greatest thing. I would pay double what we paid for that bed, and it was too expensive.
Yeah, I gotta get a new bed.
Dude, it's a game changer. Those Maloof mattresses that we have in the Airbnb, I'm not kidding you. That is a game. Getting a good mattress is a damn goof changer. It's a game changer. I'm a goof changer.
It'll change your goof.
It'll change your goof. No, but seriously, I don't know. I feel stupid in that I feel like my health overall would be better at 45 had I taken this into consideration in my 30s.
See, I need to take care of this now.
You're still in your 30s.
I got to get one of these mattresses.
You do need to get one.
Well, not only the mattress, but I like the adjustable part. Like,
yeah, that was awesome.
I made fun of Daniel about it, but like,
dude, that's how you watch.
We've got the adjustable beds in our Airbnb, and
they vibrate.
Yeah, I'm gonna give out the number real quick, because Greg, BDM Greg, Maloof, and Longmire.
Don't call him Greg Maloof.
Get a hold of Greg Maloof.
Here we go. Text Tom and Dan bed. Right, one word. Tom and Dan bed.
How'd you work this out? This is great.
321-521-2327. And that'll give you in a complete list of every single thing we have in the Airbnb, and how to get in touch with Greg if you want to buy it. Because last night I was thinking, because I get acid reflux.
Dude, it'll fix it.
And I just wanted to tilt my head up a little bit. And then I was like, I needed one of these adjustable beds.
There's a button on the big one, I think. The little
They all have.
The singles have it too. There's a button that says snore, and you just hit it, and it just gradually raises your chest, just like, I don't know, a couple inches, just enough to close your mouth.
Yeah.
There you go. And then you're not snoring your wife out of there.
Well, they say sleeping in that like 0G position or whatever.
I do.
I did that when I was at the Airbnb.
It seems like I want my feet a little raised and my head a little raised.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the best way to sit and watch TV. If you're watching a movie, you get in that 0G and it's off to the races. It's awesome. Let's try this one. I believe this is in regards to celebrities and their weight gain.
I stopped listening in the middle of it. I don't know if you guys got to Matt Damon when you're talking about Mark Wahlberg, gaining weight, and these actors, losing weight, gaining weight, Kumail Nanjiani getting fit for movies and stuff like that. But look up Courage Under Fire, Matt Damon. He actually almost died doing what he did to look the way he did in Courage Under Fire as a addict. It was pretty bad. He lost a crap ton of weight, and it was very unhealthy the way he did it, I guess. And almost had to be hospitalized from what I can remember. I'm not looking it up. I'm not going to do the research. I guess I'll leave it to Sam to do that.
I'm sure she loves that.
Whatever.
She doesn't work either, Sam. I mean, because she hasn't been getting any sleep. Or wait, she did get sleep, so that makes me think she's lazy.
The problem with any of these stories is I don't trust entertainment media.
They want you to think that they went above and beyond.
They all say this, and it probably is unhealthy to lose that amount of weight that fast. But it's like,
but how? Yes, everything. You know what? Diet Coke could be unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Like how much? Like drinking anything but water is a little bit more unhealthy than just drinking water. So almost hospitalized. What does that even mean? Like Daniel's almost hospitalized right now.
How dare you?
I want
Mental hospital.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you told me, if you guys honestly, if both of you guys right now said, "Hey, we've been waiting to do this. You're going away," I'd be like, "Oh my God, thank God." I'd be so excited if you guys put me in a mental institution.
So he lost 60 pounds for this movie and got down to 139.
Jesus.
So like.
Supposedly just eating chicken tacos.
Oh, see, no, I don't believe any of this when they tell me some weirdo food that I only ate marshmallows the entire time.
I like one potato. You know, it's like
well, that was Penn Jillette.
Yeah, I know.
Penn Jillette, I remember that one.
But it's like, you know, if let's say I was trying to get this Airbnb, I'm stressed out, up and running, whatever, I'm out there, and then all of a sudden I have a panic attack and I drive myself to the hospital, right? Because I think it's a heart attack because I'm anxiety crazy, and I'm like, oh my God, but it's really just a panic attack. Yeah. And then they put me, and then as soon as you complain about your heart and you're like a 40-year-old man, they put you right in the thing.
Yeah, that's the trick I do for everything.
And then they're testing you, whatever. The story would be Tom Van works too hard in his Airbnb and was hospitalized. But really, I just drove myself to the hospital and they tested me and then I'm fine and they released me. But technically, I was hospitalized.
Right.
So that headline makes it sound like, oh my God, he worked himself to almost death. When I just drove myself.
This says he did it all on his own, right? It was an all chicken diet, lost 51 pounds in just 3 months. So he didn't do it under any doctor supervision, according to him. I don't know if I believe.
Yeah, I don't feel like
the studios are not gonna let that happen, right?
I don't think so.
Well,
no,
too much money in that.
Like they're not gonna let him. Okay, if you,
I'm sure he talked to his train. I mean, they all have personal trainers, and the trainer is a nutritionist, and he's like,
a chef.
Hey,
maybe not back then. This is when he was 25. I'm not really sure, but.
But even like there's someone, I mean, I know a personal trainer. I'm not rich, you know what I'm saying? Like I could call and be like, hey, what do I need if I'm trying to lose a bunch of weight? He's like, well, just eat a bunch of protein.
You need some willpower.
And then make sure to take your vitamins so you get, you know what I'm saying? You don't
take
get
your
sick.
vitamins, brother.
Then
say like your prayers, brother.
Did you say your prayers, brother?
And then
it doesn't have the same ring when you say it like a normal person.
It's fine. It's like, all right, you could just eat a minor amount of protein, and then as long as you have some nutrition, you're not gonna die.
Where are we at with fat suits?
What do you mean?
Well, okay, we went through a phase.
I don't think you can wear them.
I don't think you can, because we went through a phase
for sure.
where the guy Toby from This Is Us, the guy that plays Toby on This Is Us, he was a bigger guy, but then he lost a lot of weight, right? Because he wanted to get healthy. And then because his character and other characters on the show, part of the storyline is based around weight, they put a fat suit on him.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, people are going crazy, like losing their minds. So if you have a role that the person, let's say you're doing Star Wars and you need one bigger Jedi, we're at a place now where you must cast a naturally bigger Jedi than casting a Jedi that you want to cast and then putting him in a fat Jedi suit, right? I'm not saying my opinion one way or the other. I don't care, but I'm just saying.
Well, how that guy, they couldn't cast another character because it's supposed to be that
already
guy.
The character.
So he's just wearing prosthetic, that's. And I don't. Again, with these headlines you read, I don't even think anybody was actually mad.
I don't think so either.
It's just a story to say they're mad because that gets clicks.
Yeah.
It makes other people mad that other people are mad at that.
I told my wife, I was like, I didn't even notice he lost any weight.
Madception.
Half of the internet is just that. It's stories to get people mad at the people getting mad that don't even exist.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's half the internet.
Yeah. Middle school teacher chiming in.
What's going on, Tom, Dan, and Sam? BDM Danny here. I actually teach music in middle school, so I deal with crappy beginning band kids every damn day of my life. I know where I teach, and a lot of my colleagues / friends, what we end up doing is when kids want to pick instruments, of course, every kid wants to play either the drums, the saxophone, or the trumpet. And we enjoy breaking dreams every single year because not every kid can play trumpet or saxophone or drums. So we actually have what's called instrument tryout nights, where kids come in and they actually try out every single instrument, and then we kind of invite each other to come out, and as professionals we listen to kids and we decide, okay, you are pretty damn good at making a sound on the clarinet, or dang, you are awful, you cannot play trumpet, or my favorite is you want to play drums but you're not coordinated, so how are you going to keep a beat when you can't even hit quarter notes on the dang beat? So that's how we do it around here. I know there are some programs where it's like, hey, welcome to band, what do you want to play? And those bands typically sound awful. So just my 2 cents and my inside perspective, since I've been doing this for about 11 years now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah. Keep it up, guys. Love the content.
Love you too,
Peace.
buddy. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service to our children.
If you were a kid and then you just refused, like say you were dead set on the trumpet and then the director wants you to play the clarinet or whatever, and you're like, no, the trumpet, that's what I want. Like my parents are going to buy me the trumpet because they have to rent it or buy it. So can you just push through that and like put your foot down and say, I want to play the trumpet?
I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think I would advise doing it. Like, I'll give you for instance, when I wanted to play drums, it wasn't like I got to start out on the drums I wanted to play. Like, when I got into band, I wanted to play snare drum in the marching band, and they said no. They're like, no, you're not good enough. You need to do... And I got stuck with the absolute worst instrument you can have as a shortman. I got the biggest, fattest bass drum you could be given. The biggest, fattest bass drum on the time. No, I mean, maybe. But here's what happened, right? My parents weren't like the push-through parents. My mom and dad were definitely... My dad is not the guy where I'm like, they gave me a bass drum, I wanted a snare drum. And then my dad's like, well, I'm going to go down there and kick some heads around. You're playing snare because you're a goddamn dentist. Like, that didn't... It doesn't work like that. My dad was like, well, you're playing the bass drum because you're probably not very good. Like, he was a realist. So I played the bass drum.
And then he makes fun of you?
No, I got really good at it, right? Like, it was tonal bass drums. You'd have like 4 or 5 different bass drums and they'd have different noises. So they make like... It's like, it's almost like bells. You know, each bass drum has a tone, and you tune them to match the band. So when those guys are 1, 2, 3, and 4, those 4 bass drums, you work in alignment. So they go like boom, 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 while the snares are.
But you're just hitting one drum,
right? So I'd be like. That would be me, right?
Okay.
Hitting the and you have to work in conjunction. You're a teammate in the bass drum line, right? And you're a teammate in there. So if you're playing big bass, you know, you only hit your notes, and it's up to you. If you miss your note, you make the other guy sound bad. And I got really good at that. And then after that, they put me on snare, and I got really good at that. And then I got section leader because I was the best.
But you're not having to buy new drums every time, right?
No, these are rental drums. You don't buy drums. No, I mean, you can buy a set for your house, a drum set, a trap set. But no, marching drums.
And what do you just share a rental fee with the other drummers in the class?
We were very lucky in the fact that we had just been gifted a grant from the state, and our band director thought drums were important. So he bought really nice drums, and then he had like a checkout program. He was very organized, and you could check out a Yamaha snare drum with a Kevlar head on the top and take it home. And that's what I did. I'd take them home and play them. I got really, really good at it. But I enjoyed the bass drum part as much as anything else. I mean, yeah, I got bullied a little bit, but I can't tell you it wasn't good for me.
What are one of those giant bass drums, like marching band?
Oh my God, it could be $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah, it could be like $1,500. Some of the snares that we had, like I know the price of the snare I had because that's what the band director yelled at us when we would check them out. That was like $660 for the snare drum. It was a big marching snare with a Kevlar head on it.
What's considered the worst instrument to play in a marching band that like other band nerds make fun of?
Tuba.
Tuba?
They're always metalheads, and they didn't want to be there.
I thought it would be like cymbals, like.
Yeah, we made fun of them too. Those are the lesbians.
Like it seems like that crashing cymbals is the
Those,
easiest.
it's not the easiest, but cymbal players are just not good bass drum and snare players, right? If you're not good at snare, if you're not good at quints or quads or any of those, if you're not good at tonal bass drums,
the easiest percussion,
then they're like, well, put Mary the lesbian on cymbals. And they do. And she goes there and she plays them until she tries something else and gets good at it. Maybe she can slide into a bass drum spot. That's how we ran ours.
What if like everybody's good? I guess there's always the worst out of the best anyway, so they always get
I was always the best of the best. Like I was always cream of the crop. A number one, best at everything, Rich.
What's considered is it the snare or what? Or those quad drums? Is that like the coolest?
Here's
What's the
way.
coolest?
I'm going to get a lot of email about this, but I'm prepared. Bass drums are the most wholesome, and they're the best people, the tonal bass drum players.
All
They're
right.
good people. Cymbals are traditionally your outliers. You get a lot of drifters, lesbians, and
Drifters.
Yeah, drifters, lesbians, and some homeless in the cymbals. Your marimba player, your nerds. You got nerds and marimba and xylophone.
Okay.
Your quints and quads. They're playing like the four drums with a little mini drum for the rim shot in the center. Dickheads. All dickheads.
Okay.
And then snares. Those are come on. Snares, where it's at.
Cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop. Woo! Everybody knows that snares where it's at.
So what about for all the other
She wants us to
instruments?
go and you keep asking questions.
I know, we're past time.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got a guest on the line.
Yeah, we do. And this particular guest grew up in an extremely, let's say, busy showbiz family, meeting movers and shakers. Like I'm looking at my bio here, and it's extremely hard to believe that this woman not only grew up in an entertainment family, but now has gone on to be a acting teacher, coach, mentor for over 30 years within, in the area that you should be, L.A., right? That's where you do it.
Yeah. On the line with us, MichelleDanner. How you doing, Michelle?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing pretty good.
Michelle, I'm super curious to what your opinion is on the biggest difference between Hollywood today and Hollywood, let's say, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Because
and let me give
in my mind it's gigantic, but I don't know.
Yeah, and let's give a little background here. Michelle's father, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but your dad opened up basically what would be the first version of William Morris talent scouting it was in Paris, right?
Yes. He opened the very first William Morris agency in Paris.
And so you're no stranger to, and even in your bio it says, Marlena Dietrich, you've got Sammy Davis Jr. bopping by the house. So dad's in acting. You're in Paris. You're born in Paris. Like, did you know from a very, very early on, the youngest age, that acting and being in that world was what you wanted to do?
I was born in that world. My dad was a very famous producer, and he opened the William Morris agency in Paris in the 60s. And so I was always in the middle of showbiz. But I was very attracted to literature, so I read a lot. I loved the theater. I loved museums. And then, little by little, I grew to, I just loved storytelling and any medium. And so, storytelling, with the camera, was definitely fascinating to me. But I did grow up in that, in that atmosphere, absolutely. And, but I was always just really into the arts. I would soak up anything that I could. I would read any book that I could. I would go to museums. I would just go to see plays a lot. But to answer your question about what's different, well, I think the big difference that has been happening is, of course, it's the golden age of television, and that people are watching content in a completely different way. And we're binging shows. So, the House of Cards was a pioneer in that. And, and then when we had available all of Breaking Bad and all of Mad Men, and, and now it's like, of course, it's a deluge of shows, and some of them good and some of them bad. And, and we're watching things, content through our iPad and cell phone. I hate to watch it on my cell phone. But, I think that there's so much value to go to a movie theater with a whole audience. And now that, we've turned the leaf a little bit on COVID, we can do that. And we can have that communal experience and watch a great movie with 100 people around us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it did. It changed the way that I think in some ways, to my friends that loved and valued film, I think it made it far more precious. And to those of us that maybe, didn't go to the movies as much, maybe it even gave us a little more distance, which is unfortunate. But I know for the guys that I know that love movies, COVID was kind of like the grand reinforcer of, oh my God, I have to protect this because it's so important to me.
Michelle,
yes.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about, because you're an acting coach, and I feel like some of the best actors in the world, almost can basically their own personality is kind of you can't really see it, and they take on other people's personalities very well, where you can't even notice the person's acting, right? That's what makes him a good actor. Like Daniel Day-Lewis, it's this person is the character he's playing. I don't even know Daniel Day-Lewis's personality,
right?
And it seems like the best actors don't really. It's kind of like they are very good at mimicking people, or they have some sort of weird ingrained talent. Where they could just mimic someone very well to the point where
it could be their own creation in their brain, right? A character they've even created. Do you find that to be sort of the case with the people that you're teaching or mentoring?
What's the question?
Sorry, it was a very bad question. I'm sorry. I asked very poor questions. It's kind of a show thing that our listeners make fun of me.
It's our favorite thing.
So, my basic question is, can you tell, when someone comes into your class or as you teach them, they have a specific skill that very good actors have, and it's something ingrained into them and not necessarily learned, like they have a better genetic skill than other people?
Yes. Well, there are actors like Daniel Day-Lewis. I always say everybody has the same list of 12 great actors.
Right.
And is Daniel Day-Lewis on the list? Is Meryl Streep on the list? I say no, they're not on the list. They're above the list. They define the list.
Gotcha.
Those actors inhabit the character, in a way that at times they're so unrecognizable, and it has nothing to do really with makeup and hair and costume. It's just something that they take on. It's a inner life. It's a spirit. It's a flame. And then you have actors that their personality is so strong. They're called personality actors. They, on the other hand, their personality is so strong that it seeps through every character. They don't lose themselves inside of the character.
That's called the Danny
I call them.
He's always just a little form of.
Danny McBride is always. Yeah, he's always, I think, just an exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah.
He's pretty awesome, and that show that he created on HBO is hilarious.
Oh, Righteous Gemstones. He's done a bunch of them, but that one's is very, very good.
So when you it makes perfect sense. Like we mentioned, Danny McBride. It's he's a great actor, and we all like his shows. But it's always kind of this. It's a sprinkling of. It seems like his own personality that is that character, or he could do that really well.
Or maybe what he enjoys. It seems almost a little selfish in what he's giving us is what he enjoys.
Yeah. And so when you encounter an actor like that, do you encourage him? Because I feel like if Danny McBride tried to go somewhere totally different than that and the characters we know, that we as the public would reject that because we expect Danny McBride to play the Kenny Powers type character
Right.
and the Righteous Gemstones.
The over-exaggerated,
Overconfident,
cocky, bumbling guy.
Yeah. So, like, if someone's really good
But
at
he is playing a character in that show. Yes, he has a strong personality himself, but he's definitely playing a character in that show.
Yeah, no, we know. It's like he's not that person,
Right.
But it's all kind of in the same category of Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers is Fred Simmons, is the guy from Vice
Totally.
Principals,
Yes,
is the
yes,
guy from...
absolutely.
Yeah, it's always kind of the same thing. I think people used to say it all the time about Jim Carrey, and I think it's unfair. But they would say, this performance is this, is this, is this. You all see that same sprinkling of what Tom's kind of saying about Danny
physical,
McBride.
yeah.
Whether it's his facial contortions or whatever he does, there's like a main vein of Jim throughout.
Yes. Well, that's a good example. Absolutely, yes.
So do you tell your students to, like, go with what their strengths are? Like, if you're good at this, do this. Like, this is how to be successful?
Right.
Or do you try to
Work
make
on
them
the
more
weaker areas?
No, absolutely. I think that, you have to go. You have to go where your strengths are. Like Jason Alexander, his strength was to play, comedy. He's also a great singer, and he's a stage performer, and ultimately, he found enormous stardom in Seinfeld.
And you got to work with him,
absolutely.
right? Like, you worked with him on how to go out on a date in Queens.
Yes, I definitely directed him in that movie. I think that, you find what your strengths are, but not to the exclusion of wanting to have a range and go outside of the box and try new things. And actors are always very attracted to that. That's why when you offer a part to an actor, you always say, well, he hasn't done this, or he hasn't played that. That also always should be attractive to an actor.
Michelle, what has the internet done to the movie industry, besides from the obvious where you can put out content a lot easier and it's more readily available to people, and people can produce and put out their own movies, and you don't have to go through the typical protocol that you had to do before to make a movie. But besides from that, do you think it's a positive, or do you think there's too much out there and it's flooded the market with content and impossible to sift through?
No, I think that everybody should have a voice, and everybody should have the right to be creative and tell their stories. So, and there happens to be a lot out there, and it's us that need to seep through it and see what, we're attracted to, what we want to watch, what do we want to learn from. I think it's great that there are so many things for us to watch and be entertained. At the end of the day, it's about us having entertainment, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but to me, though, Michelle, it does seem like we're being flooded with so much that I feel like the really good stuff is being lost in a sea of endless content, and our brains are drawn towards the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And then I find myself watching...
I watch a lot of dumb stuff.
A ridiculous amount of dumb stuff, and I'm like... Man,
you could have just said ridiculousness. You were halfway there.
Anyway, I watched a little ridiculousness for you with my wife the other night, and we could not get through it. That is bad.
But it's like candy. It's like that's what my brain is attracted to.
It's like poo-poo flavored candy.
So is that you?
It's called Ridiculousness.
It's a very dumb show.
It's
Michelle.
like America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
For
It's a clip show.
teens on MTV.
There's literally nothing creative in it. And
No.
now Rob Dyrdek...
Michelle West Coast.
Yeah.
Michelle West Coast.
Oh,
Chanel. You watch it every day.
Her name is MichelleDanner. No, I don't believe you know her well enough to call her Michelle West Coast.
I mean, she is on the West
She
Coast.
is in L.A. Okay, Tom, I'm sorry.
I am on the West Coast.
He hits on every female guest we have on this program. My co-host here, he will hit on the co-host, or excuse me, the interview. The interviewer, he'll say, he'll get a little too comfortable, and then he'll start using casual terms for their last name, and I apologize for that, Michelle.
No worries at all.
MichelleDanner.com is your website. Everything that people want to find out is on there, right?
Indeed.
Yes.
And
I mean, if you are an actor and you want to study acting, you have the Michelle Danner Acting Studio, Los Angeles Acting Conservatory. But you can just Google the name and you will find everything.
Yep, it'll pop right up there. You can check out everything she's done, new things she's got going on, her memoirs. I believe it's called The Golden Box. Am I correct on that?
Well, it's an acting book that will be coming out soon. Yes.
Yeah, she's got that she's been working on, but check out the website. You can also sign up for classes there if your heart so desires. Michelle, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Michelle West Coast, everybody.
How
I just added that for my
You mean Chanel? Chanel
third
West
and
Coast?
final
That's a
for
good
Tom
one.
calling somebody the wrong name for the end of the year awards.
Michelle West Coast. Hi, Michelle West Coast. We were both struggling on that one, buddy. Let's just be real with the audience. That was a hard one. That was a hard one. Especially when she's like, I don't, what is your question? I'm like, oh, God, we're doing it. We're doing it. This is why the other shows are better than us. It will be better than us. This is why we are the bad show. Hey, Michelle, very good. Very good, Michelle West Coast. Oh. What are we doing?
Don't
I hope
blame
somebody
him.
clipped that.
This is too hard.
It's too hard. This is too hard.
Too hard. You gave me
You know
all this
what?
stuff to read.
I got a good
I'm
night's
so
sleep last
lazy,
night.
Sam.
We gave you the Cliff Notes before. You
No,
didn't even read it. So
we
don't act
both-
like you read anything on those pages.
Both
too hard.
slept good last night. We're lazy.
You gave me the thing. I was like, okay.
This is too big of a bio.
And I'm
You
like-
gotta give me.
And
That's
then I
what
was
they
like,
provided
okay.
me.
I was like, screw it. We'll do
That
it
is
live.
what they sent me.
You know what?
We
We're
can do
getting
it live.
We're gonna do.
I could ask anybody anything.
Some things are going to
I
change
cannot-
around here. Show meeting, calling it live on the air. Show meeting. We got a little bit of time. I'm
right.
calling a show meeting.
All right.
Start writing the minutes.
Okay.
Agenda 1, from now on, Sam will pre-write 3 questions for me and 3 questions for you. It's just like real radio hosts. I want to assume my big fat slob scenario where I just plop my big fat slob butt here and you give me a sheet and I ask 1, 2, and 3 on my that's what I used to have to do for Ed Till. I have to write him questions.
Can you do my voice? Because I don't even really need to come to work.
All I got to do is sit. I can do both voices. I'll do, hey, what's going on?
Michelle West Coast. Oh, we'll be right back.
That'll work.
God,
Man, that was embarrassing.
bumbling idiots.
Actually, it wasn't. I don't think she knew where we were or where she was. I don't think she knew where she was.
I don't think she knew what we called.
She's
or-
so sweet.
Yeah.
She was so sweet.
Because I was
heard
going
a
through
pee-pee
my
dog. I heard a
paperwork.
pee-pee dog in the background, too.
I started going with paperwork. I'm like, a book? Is there a book name? Whatever. And then I can't see anything.
I heard a pee-pee dog in the background. Like, "Rip, rip," and I'm like, oh, pee-pee dog.
You can hear a pee-pee dog.
I can hear him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
superpower now. I can hear anybody's pee-pee dog peeing. Oh, there goes one.
I'm like, she's accomplished too much to be talking to us.
Well, I don't know. Okay, here was the thing. Let's just be real. I didn't know, because normally we have like some sort of a call to action or something that we're going
They're
to
gonna
promote.
yeah.
You know? And oh no.
What?
Oh no, I see it at the bottom here. We're supposed to promote Tom Rhodes' comedy album. Oh God, we blew it. We blew it.
Oh, we're gonna get
Man.
we're gonna get a postcard.
Don't send me a postcard from Shanghai.
That was a rough one.
You know, it's like we can interview anybody, but
Can we? I don't know about it. Oh no, that one was rough. I mean, we're saving it now.
Why
we
did I say that? That is not the case. You just heard it.
There's the proof.
It's when there's certain beats that when there's a silence in there, it throws me off.
And I can't get back. It was like my hand slipped off the raft, and then the boat was too far
pushed
away.
it- yeah, you pushed
and
it further.
Now I'm treading water.
You know when like a big fat grandma starts tripping on America's
All right,
Funniest-
ridiculous.
No.
He's right. When you're
All I
watching,
watch is ridiculousness.
When you're watching ridiculousness, and Michelle West Coast is laughing hysterically at a grandma because she doesn't just fall flat on her face.
Yeah.
She does a run fall where she
Yes.
runs for an extra 30 yards before she falls.
Yes, and that's what. So when something trips us up, we big fat grandma it like the rest of the time because we're just
Yeah, we BFG it right down in there,
Our
man.
momentum is moving us forward.
BFG.
And we're gonna crash at the end, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
that's how it happens.
You heard it crash. And then at the end, I tried to save it by deflecting to an insult to you, but I bumbled. So it was bad.
Yeah,
I didn't do it bad. We're getting older.
Yeah.
Normally, that was a scenario where normally I would be able to correct it and land the backflip. I bumbled too.
Yeah.
I didn't get my joke right. I couldn't remember things. Then my brain started shutting down. I was like, I'm just searching for words. Get them out.
Yeah. Then you wheel us out, and Lady
I'm
Gaga's
45 and doing this, and I wonder how are the Red Hot Chili Peppers still performing? They're 60. Anthony Kiedis is 60 years old.
Yeah, but they're playing the same songs. So
that's true. We got to come up with new stuff every day.
No, we just need to stick with the old stuff and get really good at it.
We do have 12 topics.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, let's.
But then you throw in extra interviews.
Let's pull it back to 8 topics.
Okay.
We're really good at telling the Chris Kampmeyer smelled the dude who smelled story. Like, we told that one 50 times.
No, I don't think we've done 50 on that one.
It's
been a lot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
We can do that
So
one
many.
really well. We can do Chungus Peekamungus really well.
Yep.
What else?
Are we just one audio dad? Follow me.
Write that down.
We're one audio
Daddy-o.
dad. What I mean by us being daddy-o is that we're just a big podcasting entity that tells the same dad stories.
Yeah.
So we're big dad.
Yes, yeah.
You see what I'm
it's
saying?
the same stories. And then our only listeners, they're growing old with us, so
Yeah.
they'll forget. And then we start telling the same stories.
Yeah,
It's like
it's comforting.
A bunch of old dads standing around telling high school stories that they've heard a million times. I'm getting this way with my friends, by the way. Like, every time I see my friends, we've run out. Like,
it's very quiet now.
our normal lives are not interesting at all. It's all full of kids and work, and then you got the same old lady you've had for so long. You had nothing to talk about. Like, so then
Man, you guys' lives sound sad.
I don't have anything to talk to my wife about. Sometimes during sex, I look down at her and I'm like, "You disgust me."
No.
And I'm like, this is gross.
But like my friends in high school, they used to talk about the chicks they were scoring with, and
I like that you use the term. Hey, did you score with some chicks? All right, giggity. What the hell?
Did you lay any pipe down?
Yeah, hey.
So we can't talk about that.
Hey, long hair and hard to carry. Cash, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free.
Everybody's got the same wives and stuff like that. I'm waiting for one of them to get a divorce so they can talk about the new
waiting
girlfriend.
for one of your group to get a divorce.
Yeah. It's weird. They've defied the odds.
I'm sending it to you right now. You can't say it, but you know who it is. You know.
It's always the one that you least suspect, though. Like, it's going to be me.
It's gonna be
Actually,
me.
people really suspect me.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you're the least people suspect.
And last week it was me.
That means it's gonna be me.
When you're not here, all Tom and I talk about is which one of us is going to get a divorce first. Which one of the three of us? It'd be Tom, right? It would go Tom, me, you. Be honest.
I don't know.
You argue with your husband less than I argue with Andrea. I know that for a fact.
Sure.
And you argue less with Whistling Toothpicks than Tom argues with Crystal, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it would go Tom and
but
me.
If it's who you least expect, then it is going to be me.
But
right?
It's not. No, don't.
Something crazy is going to happen.
No, don't listen to that.
Yeah, man. Who knows?
Don't listen to
you
that.
You could seduce someone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everyone knows I'm a seductress.
You could be over hanging photos with somebody, some man, and you're hanging some pictures, and you seduce them.
Did your husband get mad at does he ask you're in the house alone with Tom in the bedroom?
He did not.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I wonder if
Did your wife?
Did you want him?
No.
Did your wife?
No, my wife.
Is that why she showed up halfway through the day?
That is why she threw it up. Threw it up.
She threw it up.
Hey, no. The reason that Tom. Okay, follow me with this because this is true. I would bet my life on this. You want Whistling Toothpicks to tell Sam and question because it would mean that you feel like you have some big D energy.
Yeah.
Like you want, but you don't have
like
big
I got
D
the
energy.
hots for him.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want him to do that because you'd be like, still got him.
Yeah.
Big D. I'm Pete Holmes. Or I'm not Pete Holmes. I'm Pete Davidson. I called you Pete Holmes.
You're misnaming everybody today.
Digital dad. He gets confused.
Pete Holmes.
How old was that lady?
We don't know. We don't know.
I need to know her age.
I have a feeling she was an older lady. But
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.